Hello guys, we are back in new fanfic, and if enjoying this then please share and like part 2. Now let's start the fanfic. The Naruto clone picked up a kunai and charged with great speed at Saito, who managed to dodge the attack easily and charged at the clone with a taijutsu stance. Saito had great reflexes, so he was avoiding every move the clone made and actually managed the attack a few times. Naruto clone suddenly appeared behind Saito and punched him, just to see a log in Saito's place. Kariwimi no jutsu, good timing, thought the real Naruto, observing the fight. Suddenly Saito jumped and started to perform of hand seals, Kaden Gukuk Yuu no Jutsu 1. The clone did a couple of hand seals very quickly and screamed Sweden sways Huaha no Jutsu. A large wall of water surrounded the clone and protected him from the blast and then released the technique right after, blocking a sudden kick from Saito and punching him on the chest, causing Saito to wince in pain, signifying the end of the fight. The real Naruto dispelled the first clone and went to see if Saito was alright. Are you okay? I'm fine, goddamn it, it's just that I hate to lose. Keep that in mind. Actually, I have some advice for you if you want to hear. Give me. You attacked my clone with such confidence that you forgot to protect yourself. Therefore you let your guard open for my clone to attack you. Your actions were good, indeed the Sushuaha have that disadvantage, but even though you had the upper hand, do not attack the enemy, assuming that he won't be prepared for your strike. What I'm meaning to say is, don't underestimate your opponent. I'm sure your sensei already told you that. Actually, he didn't, because this is the first time I receive a blow like that. I see. For the Chunin exams, you'll need that advice, trust me. Got it, Naruto-san, thanks. No problem. Now, let's see what you can do to Nari. Ah, Naruto-san, can you teach me the Sushuaha? Sure, I can. But only after you beat my clone. Beat your clone? Yeah, but Saito couldn't do much with him and Saito is stronger than me. Strength doesn't mean anything, you know. There can be a lot of ways to win a fight, strength is one of them, also, speed, intelligence, knowledge of jutsus, and knowledge of the area. But as I was telling Saito, underestimating your enemy it's not a valid strategy, you can never assume anything, based on appearance. Okay, Naruto, let's begin. Second Naruto clone X Tonari. Just after the real Naruto ordered the fight to start, Tonari opened a scroll and drew a katana out of it. Both Naruto clone and the real one was surprised. Now, I remember him saying that he was good in kenjutsu, this shall be interesting. The Naruto clone performed some hand seals and attacked, Suiden Gyorai Shin no Jutsu. With lots of needles coming at his direction, Tonari smiled and remembered his father doing the same and cutting them all with his katana. Swinging his katana with speed, Tonari managed to cut at least 800 needles and dodge the rest of them, by jumping. That exercise I already mastered, Naruto, you won't catch me with it. Pay attention to the fight, the real Naruto said. The Naruto clone appeared from behind and kicked Tonari in the left side of the stomach, hurting a little bit. Damn you, I was caught by surprise. Tonari, then, performed home hand signs and screamed Konoha Ryuu, Mikazuhi no mai. With that, Tonari suddenly created a copy of himself to be a diversion and attacked Naruto clone on the back, winning the battle, but was really tired, since the jutsu he used consumed a lot of chakra. Very good, Tonari, I've never seen that jutsu, who taught you? My uncle Gecko Hayate. When I grow up, I want to be just like he was, said Tonari just for Naruto to remember Hayate's death just before the Sand Sound invasion. I'm so sorry for his death, it must have been hard for you. Naruto remembered that Hayatewaced by a wind technique that created a sword made of wind. It was, but I understand the ninja rules and the risk of never coming back of a mission. Naruto started to like these two. Saito was very determined and managed to fight his clone very well, and Tonari, also, is very skilled with his sword. With his age and managed to understand such cold rules, it's actually astonishing. They will be excellent ninjas, someday. So, Naruto-san, Do you have any advice for me? As a matter of fact, yeah, I do. What is it? Do not lower your guard, unless you are absolutely sure your opponent is defeated. If I wanted, my clone could use the opportunity given by yourself when you were all saying about your sword handling and just used a much stronger technique, disabling you for good. Now the real enemy won't go easy on you, so he will attack when he sees an open guard. But, since you defeated my clone, I'll teach you the Sushuaha. Gee, thanks. Flashback end. Since Naruto was taking the exams the second time, he knew what the tests were all about. So, he explained to his new teammates. As I said, the first part is a written test. So, you have two alternatives and both of them involve passing the exam. The first is to answer every question correct and the second is to cheat without any of the judges spot you. Which one do you prefer? The second, of course, both said. Great. I have the perfect plan for us to get past this test. Kuchihyose no Jutsu. Everyone meet Gamatori, Gamato and Gamatitsui, grandsons of Gamabunta, the head of toads. Since they can communicate with each other in a secret way, each one will be with each one of us to pass the answers. Got it. Now, the 10th question will be different and won't involve answering any question. For this one, my advice is to do the same as me, just copy me. Simple. Stated Kato. Since the plan was set, each teammate with each of the toads seated in different places of the room for the exam held by Morino Ibiki, Konoha's special Junin in a nutcase. Naruto got his answers from his Gamatori by a ninja he knew, held all the exercises for the test and Gamatori passed the answers to the other toads, so they can transmit the answers to Naruto's teammates. It was a piece of cake. Nobody noticed and the three genins managed to answer all the 9 questions so Naruto released the toads. 10 minutes later, Morino Ibiki gave the 10th question. Time's up. Time for the 10th question. Right now, you all have the chance to leave if you're not sure you can answer the question, but if you stay and get the question wrong, you'll never be able to take the exams again, as long as I leave. When Ibiki finished the explanation, everyone screamed in anger at the Junin and demanded an explanation. This is the question. It's your choice. Stay or leave. Oh, I forgot to tell that if one of a team leaves, the rest of the team have to leave with him. In less than a minute, half of the teams left, complaining about the 10th question. Tonari and Saito watched that Naruto stayed, so they did the same, demonstrating their trust on the blonde shinobi. For those who remained, congratulations. You passed the first part of the exam. A ninja who walk away from a mission doesn't deserve to be a chunin. Morino didn't have the time to finish his sentence, when suddenly, the room window broke and Mitarashi Anko got in, much to Ibiki, Naruto and most of the people present that already know of the snake mistress's antics. Alright, you losers, I'm the examiner of the second round, so follow me. Oh, hi Gaki, how you've been? Greeted Anko to the blonde genin. Anko came to know about what happened to him by Kurenai and was very interested to see the new him. Fine Anko-san, and you? Responded Naruto in a strangely polite manner towards the Tokubetsu Junin that everyone now turned to him and kept staring at him while disbelieving that manners and Naruto would never do together. Anko for her part was stunned. The brat, 3 years ago, was noisy to say the least and always interrupted her explanation while screaming things like, I am not scared at you lady, or, just start the damn thing. Huh. It was all Anko could muster while seeing what was once a noisy brat, now showing utmost respect, confidence and a characteristic that the snake mistress would only find within ninjas at least 20 years old, experienced. Naruto was displaying this aura that she could feel that it was trustworthy. If not from the fact that she thought he was hotter than ever. Actually, she as well as Kakashi was seeing the reincarnation of the Yondaime but without the goofy smile and the happy go-around attitude. This new Minato was anything like his father. Serious face, determined attitude, confident in his abilities. What? Actually Naruto was looking at the fact that Anko was checking him out and innerved him a little bit, since he wasn't used to attract attention. He thought at first that was because of his new attitude and behavior, but then he remembered seeing similar looks from the Hokage when she was complimenting him, so he thought that was something else. "You're actually Naruto, that noisy brat who couldn't keep his mouth shut, screaming and blabbing about becoming Hokage," said Anko, looking at the blonde shinobi intently, never taking her eyes away of his peculiar face features, as well as his deep blue eyes that Anko somehow was hypnotized over at Andy's golden hair. From Naruto's part, he really resented the comparison with his younger self, like somehow she was underestimating him again, but he immediately shrugged off, since she displayed no such intention. "That really hurt, you know. Oh hell, what was I thinking? You'll never change that manner of yours, and as for the Hokage part, you can very well forget about that, seeing that it's not my dream anymore," answered Naruto, earning looks from everyone in the room that already knew him and knew of his dream. The elder ninjas in the room stared at Naruto, with mouth wide open in surprise. But, then again, not all Konoha ninjas knew of his sudden transformation. Ibiki, like Sandaime back then, always looked at Naruto with a smile, concluding that he never stopped impressing him. Ibiki was already quite fond of the boy during his life, during his first exam and then his mission to aid Ibiki's brother to win a race, saving him from a missing nin called Aoi and breaking the Nadime's Raiden sword. "This boy continued to surprise me," thought Ibiki, smiling. "That brat changed 100, he is not the same anymore, and the air of experience I sense when I look in his ocean blue eyes is astonishing. What happened to him? And, what's happening to me? I'm actually drooling, just by looking at him, even though he is some piece of meat right there. Wait, did I actually said that? Well, he is hot," wondered Anko, demonstrating second intentions eyes toward the blonde shinobi, much to the laughter of her superior in interrogation squad Morino Ibiki, who never saw Anko blushing like that over a guy, let alone a teenager. After the remaining teams arrived at training ground number 44, aka the Forest of Death, Anko explained the rules and about the Earth and Heaven scroll, even then not taking her eyes of Naruto, well at his body at least. She was supposed to be explaining the rules to everyone, but since her eyes were looking directly at the blonde genin, it seemed that she was explaining only to him, which was pretty much an irony, since he was one of the few that already knew what the second part was going to be. Naruto, for his part, was studying Anko's behavior. Never once did anyone looked at him like that, well, only Tsunade, a few days ago, but she was the Hokage and kind of a family figure for Naruto, even though he now treated with the respect that everyone treat the Hokage. After the solo explanation, the teams signed the wager that consisted on the fact that if you died, Konoha would not be held responsible, since the second exams did involving and everyone could die any minute if they weren't careful. That much was the reason why Konoha made them assign such forms, since the last one they did without it, the other hidden villages were quite pissed at them, almost declaring war against the hidden village of leaves. Naruto, for his part, directed himself to his team and started explaining what needed to be done, in order to pass the second part of the exams. "Okay, guys, we got the Earth Scroll, so try to scout the teams for the ones with the Heaven Scroll, so that we can focus on those teams," said Naruto, cursing himself, since the last one, if they did that, his team could avoid facing Orochimaru and those big of him. "Good idea, Naruto-san. I spotted 2 teams from Suno with the Heaven Scroll and 1 from Iowa," said Saito, seeing such teams showing to their respective teammates the scrolls. "Good. When inside, let's focus our battle with the IWA team, so we can head for the tower quickly," said Naruto, not actually wanting to be on bad terms with the Cage, that was the one and only Sabaku no Gara, ex-holder of the one-tailed demon Shukaku. "Okay." Actually, the team didn't argue and proceeded according to Naruto's plan, since both of them secretly considered Naruto to be a better teacher than their sensei Aoba. When gate number 17 opened, the 3 genins started to jump from tree to tree. Naruto started to apply Jiraiya's teachings and managed to locate Doden chakra presences, signifying that the team from Iowa was near. With Anko, after all the gates opened and the genins entered the forest, Anko had to count some time until she was to reach the tower at the center of the forest. Right now, she was waiting outside the main entrance as she was playing with a kunai with a face that to most shinobis and kunoichis in Konoha it meant trouble. If one were to study her face right now, would be able to see such devious grin as well as the fact that her tongue was licking her lips with some pleasure. Actually, Anko just remembered about the last exams the Gaki participated and the time she licked such tasty blood from him that day. So, Gaki, you think you can look at me like you did and do not suffer consequences because of it? I'll show him eventually. Damn right I will. Just you wait, Gaki. Meanwhile, one of the Chunin proctors that were beside her witnessing her every move, trembled in fear at the sight. He damn well knew the last time she smiled like as he remembered a comrade of his be sent to the hospital by the snake mistress after some flirting with her. All he could do is feel pity for the one that she's thinking about right now. Back with Naruto and his team. Saito, the opponent has knowledge in Doden techniques, so Sweden will be out of question. That leaves us with your Kaden techniques, my Fuden Jutsu and Taijutsu. Got it, Naruto-san, trust me, said Saito, extremely happy to hear their commander's way of thinking and strategy. Okay guys, I have a plan. I'm gonna perform a Kage Bunshin to collect the Heaven Scroll, while we fight the IWA team, okay? Okay. After a while, Team Naruto meet up with Iwa team, engaging everyone in battle. Saito did some hand seals and screamed Kaden Hausenka no Jutsu too. Various small fire balls attacked the IWA team, dispersing the team apart and ruining their defenses. Naruto, with great speed, went from behind one of Iwa's genin along with 4 clones and performed his favorite taijutsu technique Uzumaki Hendan. The clones all hit the genin 1 time each, throwing him to the air, where the real Naruto kicked the genin on the shoulder, knocking him down and the Heaven Scroll went flying, being picked by a clone, without the rest of the IWA team knowing. Suddenly one of the other IWA genins performed some hand seals and charged in fury against Saito screaming Doden Doryu Dango 3. With this technique, a rock avalanche went straight to Saito, forcing him to channel chakra on his feet, in order to escape quickly, which he did. Tonari seized the fact that the IWA genin was attacking Saito, so he threw a kunai loaded with an explosive note at him and by doing a single hand seal, the explosive note exploded right in front of the IWA genin, throwing him to a tree, where he fell unconscious. The last one remaining was fighting Naruto. Naruto actually was concentrated on the battle, but the IWA genin was showing strong signs of exhaustion, so Naruto decided to end quickly, charging with a low-power Rasengan, scaring his opponent, up to the point where he could not move. Therefore, the Rasengan landed on his chest, sending him flying just a little bit. Alright team, we got the scroll, now which would you choose? Rest a bit or go straight to the tower and rest up there? In order to make this choice, you guys have to sense just how much of chakra you still have inside of you, since what I have in mind, will definitely wear you out of chakra in a matter of hours. Asked Naruto, seeing the look of determination on his teammates. What do you think, Saito? Asked Tonari, wondering just what Naruto had in mind. I say we go straight to the tower, there we can sleep better not having to worry about enemies trying to take our scrolls. What do you have in mind, Naruto-sensei? Said Saito. Well, I came up with an exercise to improve your chakra reserves greatly as well as improve your control like nothing else before. The exercise is to focus chakra on your feet so we can travel faster until we reach the tower, which I believe will take us 20 to 30 minutes to get there. That's why I asked about your chakra reserves. We can take it, right, Saito? You beat your, we can, let's do it. Good. Let's go then, channel chakra through your feet and let's go. Alright, Naruto-sensei. Actually, in spite of Saito's mishap, the younger genin saw Naruto as a sensei more than a teammate, because of the fact that they were learning a lot from the blonde shinobi. After some time, Naruto and the others reached the tower and entered it, completing the exercise in half a day. Since the young Genins' chakra reserves were greatly diminished, they took the extra time to rest a bit, since the test was for 5 whole days. Meanwhile, Naruto opened both scrolls, and a figure appeared, revealing Kakashi-sensei. Oh, it's you Kakashi-sensei. I'm very proud of you Naruto. Why you say that? Even though I was hidden inside the scroll, I managed to see everything, since your team entered the forest and had to admit that you acted like a true shinobi. And it seems that I'm not the only one who thinks that way, Naruto-sensei, said Kakashi, looking at him proudly with seeing his students. Ah that. I don't know what Saito meant by saying that. They look at you, as you look at me, that's why. Do you think so? I know so. Naruto, I want to train you for the third part of the exam. I already asked Tsunade-sama and she accepted it. Great. Kakashi-sensei, do you know if there is anywhere these two can sleep a little? They seem pretty exhausted. Of course, they do. Travel for half an hour with chakra concentration. Not everyone have as much chakra reserve as you do, Naruto. When I heard your plan, I was hoping they wouldn't suffer from chakra exhaustion on the way here. But, if you think again, your exercise expanded their chakra reserves and their chakra concentration. Well, since you finished the second test, follow me, I'll guide to a dorm room for you and your team. Okay, just hold on a second. Naruto performed 2 cage bunchins to pick the 2 genins and take them to the dorm room, which made Kakashi smile at the scene. Now, that's a scene I thought I would only see when Naruto went to Junin rank, smiled Kakashi. Kakashi noticed the bonding and the respect that the 2 younger genins showed toward Naruto and same with Naruto and them. Kakashi was actually looking at the 2 teammates of his student with a bit of pride. They were Konoha's best. Saito and Tonari graduated at the academy, almost sharing the title of Rookie of the Year, so the Hokage put them on the same team so as to create an all-around team who could very well take any mission. But since the third teammate was injured on their last mission, he couldn't participate on the Chunin exams, so Naruto filled his place. 4 days and a half later. After 4 days and a half, Tsunade gathered the 9 genins left and started the speech, dressed as a Hokage. Congratulations for those who passed the second part of the exam. Now let me explain what's going to happen for the third and final part of the exam. You all have a month to train for the tournament and the reason is simple. You'll be given the chance to master new jutsus, other the ones used in the second part. In a month time, they will be held a tournament and this time, will be each one for himself. Dismissed. When the genins selected the numbers, in order to determine who will be their opponent, Naruto took the time to see that he'll be facing opponents from Suna, Konoha and Grass. When the board was made, Naruto's team was satisfied with their opponents. Each genin of Konoha would get to fight 1 genin from Suna and 1 from Grass, being that same rule for the rest of the genins. When everyone was dismissed, Kakashi gathered with Naruto to discuss their training. At first, Naruto got to think, since he decided to start doing training on his own for now on, but he could very well see in Kakashi's eyes that he was underestimating Naruto in any way, so he gave the one-eyed Junin a chance. As Kakashi delivered a new training schedule, which by the way involved 2 parts. The first part would be Doden, defensive techniques, training and second will be Kenjutsu training. The rest of the time, Kakashi assigned free time for reflection and practice. This timetable looks good, Kakashi-sensei. Glad you like it. We will begin the training in 2 days. Why not tomorrow? Because, tomorrow, I want to have a preliminary fight with you at training ground number 20, so I can see how are your fighting skills, say 8 a.m. It's a deal, then. I'll arrive there 9 a.m., since you're always late, said Naruto mocking his sensei, since he was the only one to see Naruto's fun side in a long time. This time, will be different, so be there at 8. Next day. On the next day, Naruto arrived at the place at 8 a.m., but no sign of Kakashi. I knew that guy wouldn't be here on time, he's always late, I wonder why. 15 minutes later, Naruto sensed his sensei approaching and greeted him without needing to turn around to see the silver-haired Junin. Are you ready, Naruto? I will be once you activate your Sharingan, Kakashi-sensei. Fair enough. With that, Kakashi uncovered his red eye. Just after that, Naruto threw two kunai at Kakashi, which the Junin simply watched both of them pass by and throw two of his own kunais at the already hanged Naruto clones from behind. Good strategy, Naruto, but you can't do that with a Sharingan user. I know that, Kakashi-sensei. I just wanted to show you one of the many techniques I learned. Oh, I see. With that, Kakashi threw some shurikens at Naruto and then performed some hand seals. Cage Shuriken no Jutsu 4. The shurikens suddenly multiplied and all hit Naruto, transforming him into a log. Kawarimi no Jutsu. Naruto appeared right next to Kakashi, with a Rasengan charged in his hands, but Kakashi knew it wasn't the same Rasengan as before. Something was different, since this one had a ring around the energy ball. Kakashi ducked with great speed Naruto's attack and started to ask Naruto. What is with that Rasengan you've just made? I'm actually glad you dodge it, because if I were to land a blow on you with that technique, the cut could hurt a little bit. Fuden Chakra. Bingo. That's my Fuden Rasengan. I see. This technique is deadly, Naruto. It seems that I have to fight seriously, then. Please do, it wouldn't be fair to me, if you were underestimating me. Fine. Here I come, Kaden Gukuk Yu no Jutsu. Since Naruto wouldn't be able to dodge the Grand Fireball, he did the same thing with Saito. Sweden sways Huaha no Jutsu. With that, a huge water column surrounded Naruto, protecting him from the blast. Also, what Kakashi didn't knew, Naruto did a Cage Bunshin in order to prevent Kakashi from attacking Naruto unprepared. Good one, Naruto, but that technique has a flaw. I know, said a Naruto clone from out of nowhere, kicking Kakashi's stomach, therefore sending him flying to a small river near the battlefield. Naruto ran to the river quickly, seeing that he had the area advantage, because of his affinity, and started to perform some hand seals saying, Gotcha you. Sweden Uzumaki no Jutsu. Oh, crap, I have to swim away fast, or else I will get caught on Naruto's jutsu. Instantly, Kakashi looked up and saw that a whirlpool was beginning his formation and decided that staying there would be a very bad move to do, so without Naruto knowing, Kakashi swam away and went to dry land. Huh, he is there. I didn't sense him. He must have used chakra while I was using my jutsu, that's why I wasn't able to find him. Then, from a great distance, Kakashi performed some hand seals and said Doden Doryuden no Jutsu 5. Naruto gasped in shock when he saw a mud monster surge from the ground and started shooting mud projectiles at him. Thinking fast, Naruto dodged the attack while performing seals of his own and counterattacked Kakashi with Fuutonatsuga no Jutsu. Kakashi noticed the tornado coming right at him and remembered Neji hospitalized, just because of the hurricane's strong wind, so he ran as fast as he could to a side where he could avoid the tornado and its powerful wind. Naruto managed to learn some strong jutsus. I wonder which more he knows. Naruto, let's end our fight. I've seen enough. Okay, Kakashi-sensei. But I have more jutsus to show, if you want to see, said Naruto, really wanting to show what he learned to his sensei, since he was indeed what Naruto could call a sensei, since the other ones such as Jiraiya and the school teachers, except Iruka, he didn't even bothered calling them anything. No, that's okay. You can show me later. Kakashi, from inside, was cursing himself for his lack of determination, since the A&S class missions were over for a year now and Kakashi just got himself too much on the Ika to bother and train more than a few roundups and some light taijutsu practice. Let's get something to eat, then tomorrow, we begin our training. At the ramen stand, Naruto and Kakashi began to talk. So, Naruto, you managed to learn some very powerful jutsus. They will come in handy for almost every mission you encounter as a ninja. Thanks. I practiced non-stop to learn how to perform this jutsus. So, Tell me, Naruto, in your training period, did you manage to create an ultimate jutsu, or as I would say, your signature? As a matter of fact, I did create something like that. Tell me about it. You remember the Fuden Rasengan I showed you, right? What I do next is call a Kage Bunshin, and while I perform the Fuden Rasengan, the Bunshin will channel more Fuden chakra, transforming the Fuden Rasengan in a big energy ball located inside a big wind shuriken, that, when it touched the enemy, well, I have to show you the result of it. After explaining the jutsu, Kakashi was intrigued to say the least about the jutsu's description, and he was way more intrigued to see just how dangerous can the jutsu be. So, Kakashi asked for Naruto to run a little demonstration. Complying, Naruto and Kakashi went to a more secluded training ground so that Naruto could demonstrate the jutsu. Do you see that big rock over there? Yes. Step aside, Kakashi-sensei, please. Naruto then performed a Fuden Rasengan with his Bunshin, transforming to the Fuden Rasenshuriken, showing to Kakashi the jutsu's form, throwing huge gusts of wind though every direction, like a chopper at close distance. Then Naruto started to run towards the location of the trees, in order to destroy them. When the jutsu touched the first tree, a giant wind whirlpool engulfed the entire tree area, cutting everything that was inside, in such a way that, even with the Sharingan, Kakashi couldn't count the exact number of cuts. That's my ultimate jutsu called Fuden Rasenshuriken. I'm actually training to see if I can throw it like a shuriken, other than like the Rasengan. Incredible. Actually, what he said was an understatement. The move was to be considered, easily, kinjutsu if Tsunade were to know of such move. The destruction was just too grand to not be considered life-threatening. But the problem with this jutsu is that no matter how much my control is good, my arms hurts a little bit when I use it. But since the next day my arm was healed, I didn't think much of it, but I'm still practicing, and with time I can do it without hurting my arm. Amazing, Naruto. That technique could be very well categorized as an S-class jutsu, if not a kinjutsu, if Tsunade-sama become aware of the destruction as well as the fact that you hurt your arm while doing it. So take this as my advice and use it only when it's a life or death situation for the time being. Sure. No problem, Kakashi-sensei. I do have other techniques, and the Fuden Rasengan it's all that I need at the moment. I'm not planning on using the Rasenshuriken against anyone. Okay, Naruto, tomorrow, Hokage Building, 9 a.m., be there for your training. Okay, see you, Kakashi-sensei. With Kakashi. Right after Kakashi's fight with Naruto, an Anbu appeared in front of the Junin, while he was jumping through rooftops heading towards his apartment. Upon further memory on the Anbu masks, Kakashi recognized the Anbu as being the one who replaced him as Junin for his team and pretty much caused Naruto to change. The man was no other than Yamato. Senpai, Godime wants to talk to you. Greeted the Anbu, then vanishing back to the Godime's office, closely followed by the lazy Junin. As he arrived at the office, Kakashi now turned to the Godime. You called me Tsunade-sama. Yeah, Kakashi. Yamato, you can stay here as well, I want you to hear this conversation. Okay, Tsunade-sama. Said Yamato, figuring it was a high-level mission that he would be doing with Kakashi. So, Kakashi, as we agreed, you would train Naruto for the third part of the Chunin exams. Andy, understand that you saw his abilities, right? I've seen it, said Kakashi, looking at Yamato. So, in which level you would grant him? Right now, I would say mid-level Junin, but after this training, he will be close to my level. Excuse me, Kakashi-senpai. Naruto, a mid-level Junin, how's that possible? In our mission, all he could do was resort to Kyuubi. Actually, Yamato, you and Sakura were the responsible for his ultimate transformation. What do you mean? Asked Yamato, now scared at Kakashi and Tsunade's anger look on him. After that mission, Naruto said to me that he was sick and tired of people underestimating his abilities. So he went in a 2-week training period, when he learned Fuden and Suiden techniques, as well an excellent improvement on taijutsu and physical strength. He even managed to mix chakra manipulation with elemental chakra. It's safe to say he's completely unrecognizable. Yes, he indeed became very strong, said Tsunade. Sorry senpai, but I simply cannot believe you. Go see for yourself, then. He can't be far from here. Excuse me, Tsunade-sama. At the Hokage monument, Yamato, with great stealth, found Naruto standing on top of the Yondaimi's head and hid his chakra, so not to be found. But it was no use, as Naruto already noticed his presence, the moment he arrived, but since Naruto wanted to get back at Yamato for blaming him about their mission and not even do anything about it. Spying on me, Yamato, or who the hell your name is, said Naruto seriously, earning some scared and wide-eyed from the Anbu, since he didn't know of Naruto's abilities with chakra signature tracking and the fact that his stealth skills were among the best in the force. How do you know I was here? Asked Yamato. Simple. I just sensed your anger floating towards myself. Now, what are you doing here, besides irritating me to my very soul with just your presence? Said Naruto, looking at Yamato's direction, with an intent look on his face, that the Anbu froze instantly. I just came to see if Kakashi said was true. Suddenly, from behind Yamato appeared Naruto, scaring the Anbu. What did Kakashi say? How? You were there and you still there. It's actually a magic trick. Once you see I'm there, now, I'm not. See? Said Naruto, displaying now to everyone just what a evil sarcastic maniac he was, by doing a little trick with Kage Bunshin, before the Anbu could figure out what happened. Kage Bunshin? Asked Yamato, not knowing what the hell happened. Very smart. Did Anbu accepted you because of your brains, cause for me you took a while to figure my little trick. I'll make you eat those words. Oh really? You and what army? Said 100 Narutos, suddenly appearing from a huge smoke. Seeing that he had no chance against Naruto's army, he performed a transportation jutsu and appeared in Tsunade's office. At the Godaime's office, Kakashi and Tsunade were waiting for Yamato's return, when a puff of smoke appeared. So, said Tsunade, being short and to the point. I managed to find him seating in Yondaimi's head and hid in stealth, but he noticed me even before I arrived. Then I started to talk to him, only for him to appear right behind me and releasing his clone, which was the one really seating on Yondaimi's head. Then the little brat cursed me, saying that I wasn't very smart since I took a while to figure his little trick, in which infuriated me, so I charged at him. From out of nowhere, 100 Narutos appeared, so I ran. Ha ha ha, Tsunade laughed like a maniac. You sure deserved that, Yamato. It seems you were tricked by a genin, Yamato, Kakashi said, just to infuriate Yamato. But you said he is mid-level Junin, Yamato was cursing this situation. He didn't like to contradict Kakashi-senpai, since he respected his decision and life itself, but assuming that Naruto would be Junin level was still a bit ludicrous. So, now you agree with me, then. Relax. I was teasing you, just like Naruto. Tsunade, still laughing, managed to say to Kakashi. So, Kakashi, train him. Make him one of the best ninjas he could ever be. Because I can tell you one thing, you'll be pairing with him on missions to come. I'm actually looking forward to this, Hokage-sama. With Naruto. Naruto was jumping from roof to roof in direction to his apartment, thinking on his training with Kakashi, when he sensed two familiar chakras coming his way. Naruto-san, wait up. Hi, Saito and Tonari, where's the fire? Naruto, remember that you're supposed to teach me the Sushuha? Asked Tonari. Oh yeah, I remember, now. Okay, then, let's head to training ground number 18. Let's go. By the way, what are you guys going to do as training? Saito promptly said. Sensei Aoba gave me a scroll about Kaden techniques and how to properly use it, so I'll have a look at it, for a week, and then I'll see if I can learn new Kaden techniques. Any suggestions? Look for two specific Kaden techniques. Kaden Ryuka no Justu, 6, and Kaden Karyu Endan, 7. If you manage to master these two techniques, you'll have quite an advantage. These two are one of the strongest Kaden techniques. Also, Saito, you should learn defensive techniques as well. Ask Aoba that. Defensive? Why? Why? Because, it's not always you'll be able to just dodge the attack. You'll have to face it, using a defensive technique or evasive technique. Either way, you'll have to learn at least two. The third part will evaluate both offensive and defensive aspects of the ninja. If they see that you only have offensive attacks, it would be a negative point for you. Oh, and also, do not underestimate genin level techniques, like Kawarimi and Bunshin no Jutsu. They are the best for fooling your enemy. Thanks for the tip. We're here. So, what about you, Tonari? What will you do for training? I think I'll ask my father for kenjutsu lessons, but in regard to my ninjutsu, I'm clueless. If you want to master Suidan techniques, go to the library and ask to see Nadime's history. Nadime? Why? Are you kidding? Nadime was the ninja whose Suidan techniques were unbeatable. Read his history and see if there is any of his jutsus, so you can learn it. One special technique I think you can learn, that's quite in handy, is Ninpou Kurigakur no Jutsu 8. It's a jutsu that creates a fog around the enemy, not allowing him to see you or what you're doing. Or you can ask Aoba to see if he knows someone who has affinity with Suidan jutsus, so this person can teach you. Okay, I'll do that. But first, teach me the Sushuaha. Okay, then. Try to remember this hand seal sequence. Ox, horse, bird, rat, boar, dog, dragon. Once you did that sequence, you will mold your chakra and the technique will appear. Why don't you try it? Here I go. Ox, horse, bird, rat, boar, dog, dragon, said Tonari, as he focused on his water chakra and screamed Suidan sways Huahan no Jutsu. For Tonari's excitement, the water grew up high and then went towards the river that was nearby. Very good, Tonari. I did it. I did it. One more jutsu. Ok guys, now I'll be heading home, okay. See you in a month time. Next day. On the next day, Kakashi went to the Hokage building half an hour late for his reunion with Naruto for their training. When he arrived, he didn't saw Naruto and began to worry. Hi Kakashi-sensei, said Naruto. Naruto, you've just arrived. Uhu. I assumed you'd be late, so I set my clock up for 9 a.m. and came here. As it turned out, I managed to arrive together with you, so my plan worked, said Naruto, giving a victory grin at his sensei, who by now was a little mad at Naruto for actually coming later than he did. You're enjoying yourself, aren't you? Said Kakashi, sighing after seeing Naruto's grin of triumph. Pretty much. This is the first time I arrive after you, Kakashi-sensei. Okay Naruto, we're heading for training ground number 7. Okay. But first, if you want to become Anbu, there is a jutsu you must learn. Which is Sunshin no Jutsu. Oh, right. That Yamato guy escaped me because of this jutsu. Yes, I believe so. Okay, so how do I learn this jutsu? It's very simple. Really, you will nail it pretty fast. You have to think of a specific place you want to be, focus your chakra and puff. Kakashi disappeared and appeared on top of a building nearby. But, you have to memorize the place you're going, so that can be no error. For instance, if you want to go to Tsunade's office, you have to remember the exact details of it, otherwise you will transport to another place. Let's see if I got it. Puff. Naruto suddenly disappeared and appeared right behind Kakashi. See, I told you, caught it pretty quickly. Yes, it really wasn't so hard to do it. Since you don't know exactly how training ground number 7 is, follow me, will you? At training ground number 7. We're here, Naruto. Now, I'm going to teach you Dadan techniques. They are best for defensive situations and evasive techniques, but they serve as good offensive as well. As a matter of fact, every chakra nature has both defense and offense, except for Kaden, which is only offensive. But if you manage to learn Dodan jutsus, you'll have experience in 3 chakra natures, counting Fudan and Suidan. Now if you decide to learn Kaden techniques, then you'll have a full pack of jutsus to use in a number of situations. Actually, Kakashi-sensei, I was hoping to learn at least 4 Doden techniques. 4. Why? 3 defensive Adone offensive jutsu. In my training, I focused on attacking instead of defending. Even my Sushua isn't only a defensive jutsu. Since that's your request, I believe it's just fine. Actually, you already have a good arsenal of jutsus. I'm just adding Doden because knowledge of 2 chakra nature is requisite to be qualified a Junin, but if you have 3, you'll have chances of going to Anbu. Plus, they are the best jutsus for defensive and evasive situations. So, I selected 4 important Doden jutsus for you. Doden Yomi Numa no Jutsu. After forming the needed hand seals, a vast swamp can appear beneath his target to sink and trap the enemy. Doden Doryuaheki no Jutsu. The ninja will do the necessary hand seals and then spew a line of mud onto the ground. The mud will then grow into a large mud wall to help defend against incoming attack. Doden Doryuden no Jutsu. The ninja will do the necessary hand seals and create a dragon from the river of mud made after using the Doryu Taiga technique. This dragon will then spew mud projectiles from its mouth. Doden Duyu Taiga no Justu. The ninja will do the necessary hand seals and transform the ground upon which the enemy stands into a river of mud. Those seem very good for me. Good. They are very high ranked. They are high level Chunin techniques. But, remember, Naruto, this techniques involves a lot of chakra. Even though you have plenty, it's always nice to know what every single jutsus result in your chakra capacity. For instance, an A rank jutsu can take a considerable amount of a ninja's chakra, and even though you grew a lot, I remember that your chakra control wasn't too good. Kakashi-sensei. Didn't Neji tell Godime about how was my training? I don't think she mentioned to me, no. Strange. In all my training period, I sensed his chakra near me, so I thought that he was spying on me. And one day, I stopped sensing his chakra, so I figured that he talked to Tsunade-sama. It didn't come to my attention, then. But why are you bringing this up, Naruto? Because the first thing that I trained was chakra control. Come again. Yeah, I read a book about it and completed the Junin level chakra control exercise. You mean, fight 10 cage bunchins in 130, that's the one, yeah. Naruto, you know that to do that exercise, you must have 100 chakra control. Yes, I do. Didn't you rest at all in 2 weeks? Of course I did. Eventually. Actually, Naruto managed to sleep some more after he was a little ahead of schedule, but he wanted to see the looks on his sensei's face when he said, not entirely lying, that he slept close to 6 hours a day and nothing more. Oh, I see. This will actually be easier than I thought Kakashi. So Naruto, let me teach you about Doden Jutsus. As you may or may not know, Doden no Jutsu is the act of using the earth element. It allows the ninja to change their chakra into earth, allowing him to go into the earth and hide from his opponents, manipulate the earth in attacks or create earth to use against their opponents. Doden Duyu Taiga no Justu. Instantly, a river of mud came to life, making the ground slippery. You see, Naruto, I did. So, how can I channel earth chakra? Actually, since your body is surrounded by outside chakra, you can channel ground chakra by the touch of your feet to the ground or by the touch of your hands. Oh, I get it. But Kakashi-sensei, I have only one doubt. If a ninja isn't standing on top of a ground made of dirt or mud, like you said, then how could the Sandaime channel Doden chakra on the roof? First of all, he was the Hokage, because of his experience with jutsus, up to the point that he didn't need to be close to an elemental nature. And when he died, he was 50 years older than you, Naruto. Eventually, you will achieve such level, the way I see earlier than he did. For the meantime, you'll have to train Doden jutsus like I said, until you have enough experience without it. Okay, then. So, let's see if you can perform a simple exercise. It involves creating a deep hole in the ground. Actually, this exercise is a jutsu, it's called Doden no Jutsu, earth releasing technique. Perform this hand seals. Kakashi demonstrated doing the hand seals. Focus and with your right hand, slam the earth with the elemental chakra. Okay, here I go. Naruto did the necessary hand seals, focused some chakra on his hand and slammed it on the floor. Other than some small rocks jumped from the impact, nothing happened. Try again, Naruto, but this time don't focus only on your own chakra, but also the grounds. Try to release the chakra in your hand on the floor. Doden is much harder than the others. That's because the others actually are the elementals you have affinity on. Now try again, and do as I said. This time, Naruto did what Kakashi said. He channeled his own chakra in his hands, but this time, when he slammed his hand in the ground, he released the focused chakra, making a huge and deep hole, completing the exercise. 1 week later. 1 week has passed since the beginning of Naruto's training with Kakashi. The scene shows Naruto doing a sequence of hand seals and managing one of the hardest and most chakra-consuming Doden technique. Doden Doryuden no Jutsu. From the ground, a mud dragon head appeared and spilled mud balls. Excellent, Naruto. You did it. Kakashi was literally flabbergasted at his student. Great. One time he is the dead last, now he is a genius. What the hell happened with him? What he wasn't like this when he graduated. Kakashi didn't know if that happened due to Kakashino being able to give some training for him or is that he suffered a lifetime transformation. Another jutsu to my arsenal. What do you think, Kakashi-sensei? Can I become a Chunin? Naruto knew he was already Chunin level, if not higher, but somehow he wanted his sensei's recognition, as more of a signal that he was greatly improving. Naruto thought that if he got the thumbs up from the Sharingan no Kakashi in terms of ninjutsus, then he was more than satisfied with the results. Naruto, you don't need to worry about becoming a Chunin, since you passed by far that level, said Kakashi, getting more proud of his student by the minute if that was possible. Kakashi thought about that and now understood Guy's interest in training Lee to be the next taijutsu specialist. Naruto would be certainly one of the strongest ninjas in Konoha if not the strongest. Hope you're right. Say Kakashi. Who's that figure there watching us there by the trees? It appears to be an Anbu. Asked Naruto since he didn't sense the bastard Yamato around them, so he figured that he was other man. Actually, he is, Naruto. His name is Rikamaru. We are going to teach you the art of Kenjutsu and Katana Jutsus. Rikamaru, come forward, come meet Naruto, screamed Kakashi for his friend to do a shunshin and appear in front of the two. Rikamaru performed the transportation jutsu and appeared right in front of Naruto, shaking hands. Rikamaru, at least what Naruto could see, because of the wolf mask, had short silver hair and same measures as Kakashi, only more bulky than Kakashi, showing that he must be pretty good at taijutsu and kenjutsu fighting. It's an honor to meet you, Rikamaru-san or Rikamaru-sensei, what do you prefer? Said Naruto, showing once again strange sense of manner that if Kakashi didn't knew better than to expect from his student, he would be stunned. Rikamaru-san, would be fine. Nice to meet you. You have great tracking abilities, Naruto. You managed to find me, even though I was lowering my chakra, in order to avoid detection. Thanks. I learned that from Jiraiya. That was practically the only good thing I got from that training, said Naruto, mentally cursing the gray-haired Sannin. Thought so. Only a Sannin would notice me. Especially Jiraiya. He's one of the best trackers in Konoha, if not the best. Naruto, tomorrow we'll teach you Kenjutsu. Get some rest, remember of the Doden jutsus you learned, and if you manage to come with a new one, talk to me. Got it. See you guys tomorrow, said Naruto as he bowed in respect and shined out of the way, leaving the two high-level ninjas behind for some little conversation. Is this the boy who wants to become Anbu, Kakashi-san? Said Rikamaru, turning to Lazy Junin. Yeah, what do you think? Asked Kakashi, actually wishing for his friend to approve his skills, since Naruto would be pretty much partnering with Rikamaru once inside the Anbu. He's good, strong, fast, very good tracking skills, excellent chakra control, good knowledge of jutsus. Tomorrow we'll see how he is, managing the katana. In Naruto's room, inside his bedroom, Naruto was going over the facts, now rushing through his mind. I managed to add so many jutsus to my arsenal, that's possible that I forget sometimes, all of them. It's better that I take the last week before the tournament, to practice the jutsus I've learned already. I guess I could take a day or two, so I can concentrate on taijutsu. I think I'll ask either Kakashi-sensei or Rikamaru-san to spar with me. Naruto was daydreaming again. He could visualize his nomination as Konoha Chunin, it was really a matter of time. Next day, Naruto went out of his apartment's door, when a sudden man appeared and started a conversation. 9. Hello Naruto. Had a good night's sleep? Sure thing, Rikamaru-san. Huh, why I'm not surprised that you were able to recognize me without my mask, said Rikamaru, earning a smile from Naruto. I didn't know you are my neighbor, Rikamaru-san. Neither did I. Well, let's meet Kakashi at the training ground. Okay, then. Hey Rikamaru-san, I was wondering after this week, would you mind fighting taijutsu with me? I wanna see how I am doing, challenged Naruto. Well, all depends of Tsunade-sama's missions. If she needs me, I'll have to go. But, if that happens, Kakashi is as good as me if his laziness doesn't get the best of him. Now, let's go, before we get late. With that, they jumped from roof to roof, very fast, being both almost in the same speed. I very much doubt that Kakashi-sensei would arrive earlier than us, he's always late. Naruto still doesn't know why Kakashi-senpai is always late. The real reason is that Kakashi stops by the memorial stone every single day, in honor of Obito-san, thought Rikamaru, wishing though that he could help his friend a little bit. At the training grounds, Naruto and Rikamaru arrived at the training ground and, as usual, no sign of Kakashi. Late, again. One day I'll ask him about it. It can't be the same every day, there is something he's not telling me, Naruto thought loud. You said something, Naruto. No, not really. Okay. Naruto, come take a look at these. These will be your katana for the time being. Is it your own, Rikamaru-san? No, mine is in Anbu headquarters. This one my father gave it to me, when I was your age. Oh, I see. Well, is very beautiful and must be powerful. Your father is very gifted, Rikamaru-san. Gifted would be an understatement. Actually, the reflection of the sun through the sword was so shiny that Naruto wondered how really old was this sword. Yeah, he is. Father is a very talented swordsmith here in Konoha. Well, let's try something, before Kakashi arrive. Since you have affinity with Fuden, try to channel Fuden chakra on the katana. Okay. Channeling chakra. Woo-ah. Instantly Naruto looked at what were the results and gasped in amazement. He recognized this from Asuma's trench knives. Very good, huh? Indeed. Now, you see that rock? Simply pass the tip of the new Fuden katana and you'll cut in half. Do it. Like this. Oh my god. How sharp is this thing? I've read in a book that the Fuden can be used in weapons, but I didn't know it was like that. Naruto was looking at the diagonal cut that the move caused. Hello everyone, Kakashi arrived. Hi Kakashi-sensei. Where you've been? We've been here since 9, asked Naruto, only waiting for his sensei to throw one of his old excuses. Naruto's thought about commending Kakashi's creativity to always come with different excuses. Sorry, an old lady needed help with the groceries and, smiled Kakashi, scratching the back of his head. Uhu, don't bother, sighed Naruto, while looking again at a new excuse. Cortez Y of the creative mind of the laziest Junin in Konoha. Well, Shikamaru would fill that position, but he is a Chunin. So, Rikamaru, what did you showed Naruto already? I told him to inject Fuden chakra on the sword. I see. Well, Naruto, this week we'll be teaching you katana kenjutsu. How to handle a katana and how to find. We are also going to teach you 2 jutsus. Kei's no Yaba no Jutsu. By concentrating chakra on the ninja's hands, the ninja cuts the air, creating a wind blade. Konoha Ryuu. Mikazuhi no Mai. As the ninja charges at his opponent, he creates multiple shadow copies to confuse his opponent. Using the confusion, the real ninja will attack from the opponent's blind side. Tonari's jutsu. This will be great. I was hoping I could learn this technique, said Naruto, as he began his kenjutsu training. 2 weeks later. 2 weeks have passed since kenjutsu training in Naruto was found in his bedroom dreaming. He was walking through what looked like a sewer with pipes over his head and water up his knees. He was walking until he came to the room where he cursed the very presence that have haunted his life so much through all his life, but now Naruto didn't show any hint of fear or doubt in his mind. Where am I? This place looks familiar. Wait, how I can forget this place? Huahuhu. Naruto. Kyuubi. Really? I wasn't expecting you out of all people visiting. Usually, people just call it, no big deal, you didn't have to grate me with your presence, said Naruto in a sarcastic manner, only to receive evil laughs out of the kitsune. You think you so strong, aren't you? I don't hear from you for ages. Do you honestly think that you don't need me? If wasn't for me, I doubt you would survive almost any foe you encountered. You are weak and nothing will change that. So why the hesitation in coming for me for help? Said Kyuubi, never dropping the big smile on his face. The fact is, Kyuubi-san, I don't need you anymore. I changed. I don't fear you anymore. I don't fear strongest foes. What I would like is that you could just vanish from existence, but both of us know that's not going to happen, so I decided to accept the fact that you are living with me and let's leave it that way. What do you think? Huhuhu. Naruto, so strong such words, and your expression, I have to admit that it suited you better than that old brat who did nothing but cry all the time and ask for help. I as hell don't want to be inside such a weak vessel, anyway. But, the question is that your new way of hiding your emotions, or is that you came to face your emotions? I remember the last time you channeled my chakra and things were quite different from what you're saying to me now. What do you think? You've made my outside fame as it is now. But, speaking truthfully, I no longer care that everyone likes me or not. Those who care for me, have my blessing, those who don't, have my pity. Really, I have to tell you, Naruto. I never thought a human could amuse me as much as you do. Well, only the future will tell whether you really need me or not. Until then, I will be watching the life of my vessel continue. Do not think you were able to convince me, you know. You're pretty courageous to face me without even showing any kind of fear, but your abilities will only be shown in battle, and I don't care that you beat your sensei, you were only training and he's way stronger than that. Well, just sit and watch, Kyuubi-san, said Naruto, being polite even to the fox demon, earning thoughtful glares from the kitsune. Just remember, if your emotions are strong, I'll appear. In order for you to not release my power, you mustn't feel negative emotions, cause if you do, it will be playtime for both of us, Naruto, and the results might not be so pleasant, laughed Kyuubi. When Naruto was about to speak, his alarm rang, blinking 7 a.m. The third part will begin at 9 a.m., so Naruto had plenty of time to attend to the tournament. Huh, Kyuubi, I know for a fact that you can't leave me alone, so what good would do if I got scared of you or anything? It wouldn't change the fact that we are in this together, huh? Third part of the Chunin exams. From all Konoha gates, you could see important people coming like ants, daimyos from all countries, the whole crowd. As a result of an alliance between Konoha and Suna, Gaara arrived as Kazekage, and will be escorted to Godime's special seat at the stadium. Ninjas from every rank appeared around the dome, filling all the available seats. These would be the exam that her blonde acquaintance would become Chunin. On the left side of the dome, everyone known to Naruto was seated in a row: Shikamaru, Temari, who was escorting the Kazekage, Kiba, Shino, Rock Lee, Neji, Tente, Ino, Hinata, and Sakura. A little bit up, there was seating Kakashi, Guy, Asuma, Rikamaru, Anko, Kurenai, and the whole Junin crowd. They all wanted to see the new Naruto, except for Kakashi and Rikamaru that already seen what is he capable of. Jiraiya was standing next to Tsunade, playing as bodyguard for the Hokage. Would you stop trembling? You're starting to shake my chair for cry's sake, screamed Tsunade to Jiraiya, actually having to hold the chair so not to fall on the ground because of Jiraiya's trembling. I'm sorry, Tsunade. I can't wait. On one side, Jiraiya was trembling cause this could mean that Naruto would not be ready after all since he didn't see his training and would never think that Naruto could improve as much as everyone said he did. But on the other side, he was trembling with excitement for thinking the other way around. So, Tsunade-sama, Uzumaki Naruto will fight today? Asked Gaara, thinking about his friend. Yes, he will. Wait, how did you know? Gaara laughed, pointing to Jiraiya, who was biting his nails and saying repeatedly the name of the blonde shinobi. Oh, I get it. Yes, he will. But he will be a mystery to everyone in this dome. He's changed from oil to water. Changed? In what aspect? Seriousness, abilities, you'll see. When everyone was seated, Godime stood up and signified for the Chunin aspirants to approach the center of the arena, followed by the instructor. When everyone approached the center field, the instructor became the explanation. Welcome Genins. You all here gathered because you passed both first and second part of the Chunin exams, which proves that you are Chunin material. There is only one part left, fighting skills. The fights will be divided like this, there will be formed 3 groups. Each group will fight amongst themselves, in order to find the group winner. After, the winner of the groups will have a last fight amongst each other. Remember that even if any of you do not win, that just not mean that you won't be a Chunin. Dependent on your skills, if the judge is hidden at the audience, think you're qualified for Chunin rank. Any questions? Can we use weapons? Tonari asked. All sorts of fighting are acceptable. It would be my call to stop the fight if I see that either an opponent is no longer able to fight or prevent that such opponent can beat. So, first group will be Tonari, Suna Genin number 1 and Iwa Genin number 1. Second group will be Naruto, Suna Genin number 2 and Iwa Genin number 2. Those whose name wasn't mentioned, will be in the last group. So, first group, get to your positions, the rest have to leave for the secure area. Genins, are you ready? Then, begin. Tonari had already drawn his katana, his preferred fighting style, and scared the Suna ninja a little bit. Tonari went to charge the nearest Genin, that happens to be the Iwa Genin number 1. He attacked with his katana, and the Iwa Genin managed to deflect the attack with a kunai and threw couple shurikens, which Tonari simply avoided, by simply swinging his katana, in a more way. Tonari then decided to run near to water part of the field and made some hand seals. Suiten Daibafuku no Jutsu, a powerful water vortex charged the Iwa Genin number 1, who was terrified of the opponent's technique. If he realized that Doden techniques are stronger than Suiten, he would have an advantage towards Tonari. When the Genin thought of moving away, the technique had already reached him and sent him flying, knocking his head on a tree and fainted, losing the battle. Everyone in the audience applauded the Konoha Genin, who didn't lost focus on the other opponent, who was in fighting stance, just waiting for Tonari to come charging him. Are you going to just stand there? Or are you fighting me? What don't you come and find out, then? Weak. What did you call me? I said weak. What are you going to do about it? You're dead. Tonari ran towards the Suna Genin number 1 with such intent, that he didn't notice that all the Suna ninjas was doing was a explosive tag trap, ready to blow when Tonari crossed the line. Tonari, while running, was looking straight to Naruto and remembered their fight in Naruto's advice. Remember Tonari, stay focused and don't let the enemy fool you, because he will, if you let your emotions and prepotency ruin your judgment. So, Tonari stopped and focused his eyesight to notice that he stopped just in time to avoid the trap. Tonari ran to the side, and started throwing some shurikens at the Suna Genin, who just by a few inches, managed to dodge all the shurikens. All but one, actually. That one hit his shoulder, damaging the use of his arms and the use of jutsus. Tonari didn't wait for the Genin to think of something, so he ran towards the genin and landed a jab on the genin's chin, making the genin cough a considerable amount of blood. It's time to end this, Tonari said, making hand seals. Suiden Suiryuden no Jutsu. A water dragon suddenly grew so big that it managed to block the sunlight and hit the genin, knocking him down, making Tonari the winner of the first match, with the applause of the entire audience. Congratulations, Tonari, you did well. Thanks, Naruto-san, I owe my victory to you. If it weren't for your advice that day, I would have fallen in the enemy's trap. You only won the fight. Now it's my turn. I'm looking forward to fighting you again, Tonari, and this time won't be my cage bunshin, said Naruto, leaving Tonari to his thinking. Next genin group, appear at the arena, said the instructor. For Naruto's part, each step he made, the audience would cheer louder in anticipation. Today is your day, Naruto, show them what you're made of, said Kakashi. Naruto, I know there are no way you can forgive me for what I've done to you, but I want to see what you can do. Please show me the new you, said Sakura with a little tear running through her cheek. Hang on, Sakura, he will forgive you one day. No matter how much he changed, he's still the same confident and friendly guy on the inside, said Ino, trying to cheer her friend. For Naruto to behave like that, it would take a miracle. I wonder how much he suffered, in order to show that new look of his. I never seen such concentration from him, he really did change, just like you said, Shikamaru-kun, thought Ino, looking to Shikamaru, for him to return with a smile. Man, that Gaki changed a lot. I can't wait to see his fight. I just can't, said Anko vigorously, earning glances from everyone, with wonderings about what the hell happened between the two of them, much to Kurenai's laughter. Well, Naruto-kun, you managed to change yet another kunoichi just like me and Shizune. You are indeed quite a guy. If it weren't for the fact that I'm dating Asuma, you would be one hell of a catch, said Kurenai, blushing a little bit at looking at the genin's blue eyes which somehow traveled through the arena, much to Asuma's secret jealousy. Is Kurenai blushing because of Naruto? That sure is unexpected. Wait, I'm getting jealous at Naruto. That's absurd. Besides, Naruto wouldn't go for a woman older than him, now would he? Thought Asuma, cursing Naruto's similar looks with the Yondaime. Second group, begin, said Genma. Naruto studied his opponents, up to realize that the IWA genin number 2 was not to be underestimated. Naruto could sense that the genin has large chakra capacity and could hold on much longer than the other. So, in order to test his opponents, he did the same move as the beginning of Kakashi's fight, throwing 2 kunais at both of their opponents, who dodged with ease, considering the kunai passed right in front of their faces. Hey Konoha scum, that kunai was thrown in slow motion or what? Said the IWA genin, instantly regretting it when he saw Naruto smiling. For me, it would be impossible to get caught in such trick, but to the non-Kekkei Genkei, it's one hell of a technique, said Kakashi from the stands, knowing what would happen, and earning glares from his peers. The kunais hang to cage bunshin and punched both genins from behind, to everyone's surprise. Ouch! Huh, cage bunshin, but he didn't make any hand seal, said the genin, surprised that Naruto did jutsu without the need for seals. Since the Suna genin was the closest to Naruto, he decided to end it, by performing some hand seals and say Fuuton Rasengan no Jutsu. With that, Naruto's was a direct hit at the genin's stomach, ripping all this top blouse and sending him flying backwards, spinning faster than Kakashi Cold Sea with the Sharingan, knocking the Suna genin to the ground. From that move alone, just everyone at the stadium were flabbergasted. Did Naruto just merged Futon Chakra with the Rasengan? Jiraiya. I wouldn't believe it if somebody told me. Tsunade. Naruto knows Futon Jutsus? Ino asked Sakura. I'm just astonished as you. I did not know that. If he wanted to, the guy, that technique could cut his whole body in a second. It's a very dangerous jutsu. He better look out, because the other genin is charging at him. Naruto turned and saw the other genin charge at him with a kunai at hand, so made some hand seals, showing the Iwa genin his own medicine. Doden Doryuden no Jutsu. Instantly, a mud dragon head appeared and shoot mud balls, which the genin managed to jump just in time and dived, in order to catch Naruto from underground. Naruto closed his eyes and remained calm. Even though the enemy vanished, Naruto could sense his presence, by putting his hands on the ground. When Naruto sensed his presence nearby, he made some seals, then after jumped away of the mud swamp who would be about to form in the middle of the arena. Doden Yuri Numa no Jutsu. Right in the middle of the field, a giant puddle of mud appeared, stopping the Iwa genin's tracks for good. The Iwa genin channeled some chakra on his feet and managed to jump away from the technique, singing early victory. Before he could land, Naruto smiled and started making some hand seals, screaming Fuuton Datapa no Jutsu. The wind was so strong, that the genin couldn't hold to the ground and went flying, just to see a Naruto Kage Bunshin hold him, in order for the genin not to bump his head and get seriously injured. But, the genin had already fainted from the strong blow. Everyone in the crowd screamed of joy from Naruto's demonstration. Naruto changed his whole style. And after using so many high-ranked jutsus, he didn't even sweat. How's that possible? Tente said. This is the new him, Neji concluded. He's not on the same level as you guys, he's already Junin, without the promotion. You're kidding me, right? He's not stronger than me and Akamaru, said Kiba, with an attitude, but trying to hide the trembling as he witnessed what Naruto could do. Maybe we would give you the benefit of the doubt, if you weren't trembling, right now, said Shikamaru, smiling on the inside, about Naruto's improvement. Shoot the hell up. Meanwhile, looks of admiration and acknowledgement went through all the Junins inside the stadium and not only the ones that knew Naruto. Asuma was staring in awe of Naruto's display in Fuden ninjutsu. Kurenai was admiring his coolness while feeling the ground to sense the opponent. Kakashi and Rikamaru smirked at Naruto's brilliant display of Doden ninjutsu and Anko. Well, Anko was staring dumbfounded for a moment. She was staring madly at the fight, as Naruto did each move with goddamn proficiency as she quoted inside her head. Her mouth was opening more and more at each ninjutsu. At the end of the battle, Anko was actually the one who started screaming for him in extreme joy, which once again received strange glares from her peers. Well, Naruto-kun, it seems Anko here has a newfound crush on you, smiled Kurenai, while seeing the odd behavior of her friend. But what happened next instantly made everyone at the audience gasp in awe as Naruto used a modified version of the Shunshin no Jutsu. As Genma declared Naruto the winner, a little tornado appeared circulating him and then he vanished, appearing inside the competitor's booth, performing the Fuuton Shunshin no Jutsu. Third group, you're up, said the instructor. Saito's fight was a bit of a challenge to him. Both their enemies had superiority against his Kaden techniques. But he wanted to show to Naruto how strong he became with his new jutsu. When the battle started, he already made some hand seals, throwing a huge fireball at the Suna genin, who managed to dodge quite easily. Then, Saito engaged in taijutsu stance with the Suna genin. They were equally matched in terms of attacking and defending, until the Suna genin landed a punch at Saito, who turned into a log and appeared right behind him, kicking his stomach. Then Saito surprised everyone when he did some hand seals and screamed Kaden Karyu Endan 10. A huge fire blast hit the Suna genin and incapacitated him in less than a second, having the instructor the need to take the Suna genin away for urgent medical attention. Meanwhile, the Iwa genin was just waiting for his time to attack the occupied Saito. The Iwa genin went under the ground and grabbed Saito's leg, bringing his whole body below the ground, just leaving his head, making him lose the battle. Even though Saito lost, everyone saw him using an A-ranked Kaden jutsu and applauded the Konoha genin. Winners, assemble, called the instructor. You three will now fight, for the Konoha championship. Begin. The Iwa genin was overconfident, because of his victory and charged against Naruto with a kunai. Naruto did only wait and dodged easily. Then, with a formidable speed, he caught the genin's leg, threw him up to the air and made some hand seals and screamed Suiden Sui's Hyuha no Jutsu 11. Naruto's jutsu caught the Iwa genin in the air and The wave carried him to the little river, knocking the guy from it. Then, all that was left was Naruto and Tonari and they were facing face to face, showing some fierce determination. Since Tonari was best at Kenjutsu, Naruto decided to see how he was at the art. That only left you and me, Tonari. What do you say? Let's have our swords decide, said Naruto summoning a katana, that at first surprised Tonari, but he instantly smiled at the challenge. Since when do you know Kenjutsu, Naruto-sensei? Saito asked. A couple of weeks ago, said Naruto, taking his katana from a scroll. Okay then. This shall be fun. Let's go, Naruto-sensei. What happened after a moment left everyone in surprise, except Kakashi and Rikamaru, who were laughing at everyone's expressions towards Naruto. Guy-sensei, they are moving very fast. I know, Lee. Their battle is beautiful to watch. Naruto applied my style of Kenjutsu up to a new level. He is faster than me, but the Tonari sure is skilled and I think Hyatt had to do with this. That style is unforgivable, commented Rikamaru. Hayate was his uncle, Rikamaru-san. I'm sure as well you heard the way he regarded our pupil, right? Said Kakashi as he smiled towards his friend who were smiling as well. I sure did, Kakashi-san. So it seems that Naruto became a sensei figure for them, he interests me to no end. Naruto and Tonari were giving a katana showdown and both seemed to be at the same rhythm, slicing, defending, dodging, everything. Then, Tonari did the jutsu he learned from Hayate. Konoha Ryuu, Mikazuhi no Mai. He appeared on top of Naruto and sliced Naruto, for everyone's disappointment and utmost shock. Suddenly, Naruto appeared behind Tonari, performing some hand seals and scream K's no Yaba no Jutsu. With that, he created a wind blade, cutting Tonari's arm a little bit and throwing him to the ground, losing the battle. How? I hit you with my technique. How did you survive? Said Tonari as he was holding his shoulder from the excruciating pain that the wind sword was causing him. Actually, Naruto was having second thoughts about winning the battle with the exact same jutsu that got his uncle Ed a while back. Look better at your target, Tonari, said Naruto as he was pointing to where he was supposed to be if Tonari's attack did hit him. Kage Bunshin, precisely, said Naruto, before helping the brave genin up. At the Hokage's office on the next day. In the Hokage's room, there was Tonari, Saito, Kakashi, Jiraiya, Shizune and Tsunade waiting for Naruto, who knocked on the door. Enter. You called me, Tsunade-sama, appeared Naruto seeing everyone inside the room, smiling at him. Yeah, Naruto, please stand near your teammates. Okay, you three, at this moment, became Chunin of Konoha, congratulations. Now, being a Chunin means obviously more responsibility than being a genin. As a Chunin, you are to be team captains, being responsible when the mission is a success just as well as when the mission is not completed. A Chunin should keep his teammates at bay and protect them, but I'm sure that you three just showed to everyone that not only strong individually, Team Naruto is much stronger. Congratulations, once again. Here are your outfits. The Chunin outfit involves two parts, both optionals. The first was Konoha's vest. The other would be the rubber suit. If the ninja wanted to keep his clothes with the vest, it was fine. Needless to say, Naruto chose both outfits to wear. Yes. Hey Tonari, did you hear that? We are Chunin, said Saito. Yeah, I can't believe. And it's thanks to Naruto-sensei, said Saito, earning glances from everyone since only Kakashi heard them calling Naruto their sensei. You two passed on your own, all I did was give a few pointers. Thank you, Tsunade-sama, said Naruto, without much enthusiasm. Naruto, you more than earned the title. Actually, the Anbu chief saw your fights in W is pretty impressed. Since the little war with Suna, Konoha lost a few Anbu, so the Anbu chief is locating new recruits, said Tsunade, waiting for a little reaction, and when it came, even if it was just a grin, she sighed in relief. Really? But, you have to complete 20 A and B ranked missions in 1 year from now. For that, you'll be pairing with Kakashi in those missions. Eventually, I'll add a third or fourth person in the squad, if the mission calls for it. I'm ready for it. Naruto, the condition he set up is similar to the condition for you to become a Junin. So, when completed these missions, it would be best to upgrade to Junin then join the Anbu. Will the Anbu chief agree with that? That's negotiable. As I said, he demonstrated a lot of interest in you. Naruto was going over what's happened at the fight and how he was able to stay calm and win the battle. Strangely, he noticed back on the third round of the Chunin exams, that the crowd was actually cheering for him. He could even feel the seats trembling from the noise. Naruto remained walking towards getting some ramen, since he didn't have time to eat it, since the beginning of the exams until he felt Kakashi's chakra not so far from where he was, so he decided to go see what his sensei was doing. When Naruto found Kakashi, he was just standing in front of the ninja memorial stone, that engraved the names of ninjas that died in a mission or protecting Konoha from enemy ninjas. Ohio, Kakashi. If I may ask, what are you doing here? Said Naruto greeting Kakashi, before noticing that Kakashi's head was down looking at the monument with eyes looking down in what appeared to be a shame look on her face. Oh hi, Naruto, I was just letting my thoughts take place, mumbled Kakashi, never taking his eyes off the memorial stone, almost like Naruto wasn't even there with him. I see. Well, I just came by because I felt your presence nearby, but if you want I can leave you alone, said Naruto as he was already turning to leave for Kakashi to clear his mind, but since Naruto really changed, Kakashi was considering on letting Naruto know of his secret, the one grudge he still has that hold him to the past. Okay, thanks. Naruto, would you come here please? I want to show you something. What is it, Kakashi-sensei? Can you see the name written on the third line, bottom up, left to right? Said Kakashi, pointing the name so that Naruto could follow. Uchiha Obito. Who was H? Asked Naruto, but when he saw Kakashi's face after the name revelation, he immediately thought better than ask more questions than his sensei was willing to answer. He was my teammate, when we were Genins of Konoha. Actually, our team was made pretty much the same way as Team 7. I was the rookie of the year while Obito was, well, I'm not saying the word. The Sakura part of my team belonged to a person called Rin, but no one was able to locate her after a while. Since our team was formed during the last Shinobi War, there were many missions that nowadays would be in S-ranked, but on that time, we only did C-ranked missions. It was one certain mission that went badly, said Kakashi as he was picturing the events of the mission for don't know how many times. What happened? Simple and to the point. That was the only way to not interrupt Kakashi's wonderings so he could tell Naruto. If Naruto were to ask many questions, it could disrupt the link and Kakashi would be hesitating to tell him. It was a mission that involved the destruction of a bridge that the IWA battalion used to travel, located near the grass country. I was Y at the time, I was just promoted to Junin and I faced everyone like they were nothing. But, then, a Doden technique was performed by an IWA Junin and a rock avalanche was coming the way of our team. Because I was low on chakra, I felt on the floor and wouldn't be able to survive the jutsu. Obito picked me up and threw me in a safe distance, saving me and him. In his last strength, he gave me his right eye Sharingan. If the rocks did not cover the other Sharingan, he would have given me both Sharingan eyes, said Kakashi, holding his tears. I see. Kakashi-sensei, we're not on a mission and no one is around. If you cannot cry with your new teammate, how can you trust him? Said Naruto, putting one hand on top of Kakashi's shoulders in sympathy for the lazy Junin's suffering. The thing is that I somehow can't stop thinking that I screwed up real badly, and every time I remember what happened, I just feel the need to punish my old foolish self, said Kakashi, now surrendering, and tears were slowly but steadily falling though his face. Kakashi-sensei, now I see why you're so firm into the speech about those who abandon their comrades is worse than trash. After a nod from the Junin, Naruto continued, I see, now. I don't know if this will help you or not, Kakashi-sensei, but Obito is alive. He is alive inside you. In fact, he's using his eyes to see the world together with you. He will always be where you are, since you have a part of him inside of you, and I'm not only referring to the Sharingan, if you know what I mean, said Naruto, now knowing why Kakashi was always late, why Kakashi always valued his friendship with others. He's dead because of me, Naruto. Other tried to convince me otherwise, but deep inside this eye is a very well reminder of that day, and every time I use the Sharingan, I try to hold this tears that you are now seeing. In fact, I think you're the first one to see such tears, said Kakashi, still crying but not sobbing. It's hard, isn't it, to have something that aids you in battle, but at the same time causes you more pain and suffering than anything you've ever seen, said Naruto, now reaching through Kakashi that no one had never been able to, not either the Yondaime to whom Kakashi thought as a father figure, and now here was his son doing yet another feat. Kakashi, upon hearing this, became wide-eyed and started looking at Naruto's deep blue eyes that, if looked pretty deep, it showed nothing but sadness and painful moments. Right that instant, Kakashi understood what Naruto was talking about, but what he did then could very well unleash something terrible to the blonde. Yes, but my burden is nothing compared to yours, Naruto, said Kakashi, now stopped feeling sad for Obito and now feeling pity for Naruto, not at all realizing that what he said pretty much woke up every bottled up emotion inside Naruto and he couldn't contain it anymore. Naruto for once never liked people to feel pity for him, and he understood that others had suffered as well. But what Naruto despised more than the fox itself was for his suffering to be compared with other person's suffering, like the person saying that he suffered more or he suffered less. Don't you dare compare my pain with yours. What you think that my burden can be compared to yours? Believe me, Kakashi-sensei, whatever Kyuubi did to me, it even compares to seeing a dear friend dying in front of my eyes, screamed Naruto, altering his voice to the Kyuubis without even knowing, much to Kakashi's awe, staring, much to Kakashi's ultimate regret. Now Kakashi wasn't afraid of the strong aura that surrounded his student. Such aura carried a deep burden, and he didn't have to look Naruto's eyes to see that he was crying. He was crying because of what Kyuubi caused him, but most of all he was crying only by imagining to have a burden similar to his sensei. Right there, Kakashi, somehow, grouped Naruto in a father hug while ignoring the fact that Naruto's red chakra was slowly burning his arms in the process. Tsunade's office. Tsunade was inside her office when suddenly a powerful aura came rushing her senses, and she instantly remembered sensing Naruto's chakra that way before. In a blur, she shunshined to the area where she sensed the presence and saw Kakashi hugging Naruto, while still engulfed with Kyuubi's chakra. Seeing the fact that Tsunade was scared of the Kyuubi getting out, she didn't notice that the air around them carried an immense sense of sadness, and she started to cry without even realizing it. Naruto's aura was the cause, and she right then could feel what could be described as being what Naruto felt like growing up because of the Kyuubi. Tsunade now had a glimpse of what Naruto went through, and she just couldn't stop crying. Around Konoha, three girls felt as well the aura, which showed them only sorrow and grief. It was chakra filled with all but negative emotions. Sadness, depression, loneliness, grief, sorrow, rage, despair. All this emotions seemed to be appearing through them all at once, and the girls couldn't help but start to cry without knowing any reason to it. Kurenai, Shizune and Anko were crying, and none of them knew the reason why, but they very well felt it, and they all wondered who the hell could suffer like this and not lose his or her mind. What happening to me? Why am I crying all of a sudden? I already know this feeling, but never to such a degree. Who is causing this? Anko. Oh my god, my heart is crushing me. What's the matter with me? Why this is happening? I can't stop crying. Shizune. I never felt like this my entire life. Such feelings bottled up, and it's increasing madly. If this continues, I don't think I can hold it. Kurenai. After some thoughts, These girls all came with the same conclusion. They didn't know for certain who was doing this, but deep inside their hearts, they very well knew just who was the person and where did such emotions came from, and they at the same time thought of the only one who could suffer as much was the one and only Naruto-kun, Shizune, Naruto, Kurenai, Gaki, Anko. At the memorial, Naruto was slowly gaining conscience, after feeling what could be described as a father hug coming from Kakashi, and he turned to smile, realizing that he was not alone, knowing that they were others with burdens to carry just as he did. While looking at Kakashi's arms being slightly burned, he turned to look at his sensei's eyes only to see he smiling, but this time was one of the smiles that Kakashi gave when he was happy and with not a care in the world. Because of Naruto's way of putting words, Naruto made him realize that deep wounds are tough to heal, but that didn't mean that they couldn't get away in time, and Kakashi wanted so much to thank Naruto for what he did. Kakashi knew that Naruto vowed to never channel the fox's chakra again, but he was glad Naruto used it, since such words were kept deep inside of him and he no longer felt the burden carried by him because of Obito. After some time, Naruto drifted to unconscious and Kakashi slowly rested him on the grass around the monument and turned to see the Godime right in front of him sobbing. Upon seeing this, Kakashi knew that the Godime had some kind of family link with the blonde Chunin, and he figured that Tsunade felt like no one the pain through Naruto's aura. Then Kakashi went to the Godime and did exactly what Naruto did to him, he rested one of his hands on Tsunade's shoulders. I figured you felt Naruto's pain as well, didn't you, Hokage-sama? How could he survived all this long, Kakashi? How could he bottle up so much inside of him? I can't help but fear that what we felt was a mere fraction of how much he suffered. He is just a boy and he suffered a lot, sobbed Tsunade, contemplating how deep was Naruto's wound. No one knows Godime-sama, only one who shared a similar path can grasp exactly how much he suffered. But I wouldn't underestimate him if I were you, Hokage-sama. Naruto could very well be a boy in age number, but I can guarantee that what he suffered, hardly can anyone suffer as much even with 100 years to live. But he is a shinobi of Konohagakure and a very proud one if I may add, said Kakashi, managing to calm the Godime. Tsunade for her part, saw Kakashi with new lights this time. She looked at his eyes and could very well see that he was still crying, but a strange aura of determination surrounded him and she could very well see the white fang of Konoha's Hatake Tsukumo rising once again from the ashes. Damn it, Naruto. Even Kakashi. How can you do this? How can you manage to save everyone but not yourself? Kakashi, I can see your student's eyes in you, said Tsunade, now smiling while seeing that Naruto passed his determination to Kakashi. Naruto has a strange ability of helping everyone, Tsunade-sama. But sadly he cannot help himself, it's like he was destined to see others happy, instead of being happy himself, said Kakashi, now turning his back on Tsunade, hiding the tears from the Hokage and looking at the now sleepy Chunin. It is sad indeed, Kakashi. But while his abilities do not help him, we could as hell give it a try, what do you think? Said Tsunade, now joining Kakashi, watching the blonde sleeping peacefully. I would sure do it, even if you didn't say so. Seeing Naruto is like having Sensei here with us again, and now Naruto managed to do something not even his father could do it, said Kakashi, looking at the sky, smiling at the now deceased Yondaime, where out of a sudden, a beam of light engulfed Naruto's sleepy form, showing that Minato was up there watching everything with the broadest smile on his face. And what would that be? Asked Tsunade, just waiting for the answer that the strongest Junin of the village was about to give with all honesty. Naruto just saved me from myself, said Kakashi, earning a smile from Tsunade. I can very well see that, Neo White Fang of Konoha, said Tsunade, resting her hands around her waist, while seeing for the first time, even though it was covered by his mask, Kakashi's genuine smile upon hearing the name that made his father famous throughout the shinobi countries. Kakashi was reading his Ika tactics when Naruto appeared with a puff of smoke. Kakashi was literally a new man indeed. After yesterday, Kakashi was actually the first one to arrive at the designated spot for their mission, and Naruto noticed that, much to his surprise, since Kakashi was late for everything, and to think that their talk yesterday helped Kakashi immensely. "Hello, Naruto. Ready to go?" said Kakashi, returning his book inside his kunai holster. "Hi, Kakashi-sensei. I sure am. Why you are here on time is beyond me, though," said Naruto, teasing his teammate, much to Kakashi's dismay. "You wouldn't stop that even if I asked you, right? I'm sure you've packed for a 4-day trip," said Kakashi, seeing Naruto actually enjoying himself every time he joked about Kakashi's being on time for things. "Yep. Okay. So let's get moving. The fire daimyo has a thing for good timing." With that, both Chunin and Junin rushed through the forest, jumping from tree to tree in a faster pace. When nightfall became to appear, the ninjas had already covered 70 of the way, setting camp together. "Naruto, go get some water, I'll arrange everything," said Kakashi as he was laying a few stuff on the ground and started accumulating wood to form a little fireplace while making a few hand seals. Kaden ATSUSA no Jutsu 1. Back in a second, Kakashi-sensei. "I heard some river noise nearby, I won't be long," said Naruto as he almost disappeared in a blur and rushed towards the lake that was nearby. "Here, Kakashi-sensei," arrived Naruto as he gave a bucket with water for the Junin to wash his face as well as leave near the fire for when they had to extinguish the fire. "Arigato, Naruto. I see you like that little chakra exercise, don't you?" said Kakashi, smiling because of the fact that he never thought of such a thing before, and if he did it more often, he actually would increase his chakra reserves even if were only by a little bit. "What? Oh, yeah, I do. I figured that since you're not the same as Saito and Tonari, I wouldn't have to worry about you suffering from chakra exhaustion or something. We're almost at our destination, and we have one more day. We'll arrive there in no time. Easy there, Naruto. If you were to do a mission with a person whose chakra capacity isn't the same as you or a Junin level, you would have to abort the mission, due to your teammates' chakra exhaustion," Kakashi laughed, thinking that actually most Junins in Konoha still wouldn't be able to travel such a distance using chakra through their legs all the time. "Sorry, Kakashi-sensei. I need to calm my enthusiasm. The thing is, Kakashi-sensei, with my rush training and all the jutsus I learned in what a month and a half, I can't seem to relax," said Naruto as he was slowly breathing in and out, as a way to calm the heartbeats a little bit. "If you want to relax, I have a simple but 100 effective exercise for you. Take this leaf and put it on your forehead. Then, just focus all your energy on that leaf. You'll see that this simple leaf can ease your state of mind, like nothing else. I see that. It's like everything around us suddenly frozen, and my breathing is now relaxing," said Naruto as he continued to channel steady amount of chakra through the leaf and he was relaxing. "I'm glad to hear that. Part of training involves taking time to learn what you accomplished, in order to see positive aspects, negative aspects, dangerous situations, everything, and most important of all, stay calm and focused. So, tell me, Naruto, how are you feeling, now that you've accomplished part of your dream?" asked Kakashi, gaining once the attention from his ex-student. Tsunade-sama asked the same thing. "Kakashi-sensei, I'm feeling great. Actually, since I've been able to use more of my chakra, it seemed that I'm more at ease with myself. It must have been piling up inside my body since it's rarely that I don't have enough chakra. But regarding to what happened before, now it seems that I do not care if a person underestimates me or treat me like an idiot, I'll simply walk away from that person, you know. It's like saying, go bug someone else. I see. That's good, Naruto. You should only be with the people who really care for you," said Kakashi as he was smiling at seeing the growth of his student, not only in a physical way but the mind as well. "I know that. Say, Kakashi-sensei, what is it?" "It's just something that happened in the middle of the first and second part of the Chunin exams, when Mitarashi-san entered the room, blasting the window," said Naruto as he remembered that the snake mistress was noticing him differently than the rest of the genins. "What about her?" asked Kakashi, as he was wondering why the hell Naruto would ask about the Mitarashi Anko, of all kunoichis that resided in Konoha. But now that Kakashi thought about it, Naruto and Anko did share a similar past, both being hated because of somebody else and both managed to get out alive. When she looked at me, I could sense some second intention there. I don't know, she started sizing me up and down, with a smile on her face. Even though Naruto was growing up faster, he tended to blush a little bit, confessing to his sense that some girl could have the hots for him, much to Kakashi's dismay and intrigued look. Does Anko have a crush on Naruto? No, impossible, is it? Well, she seemed odd when the third part of the Chunin exams were on. She was cheering for Naruto like a mad person, screaming his name in joy and admiration. Could it be that? Thought Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei? Asked Naruto while looking perplexed at his sensei's reaction upon hearing what Naruto told about the snake mistress, and quite frankly, it was indeed scaring him a little bit, while seeing Kakashi in deep thought. Oh, Naruto, I can't say for sure what that meant for her. She is a very active woman, said Kakashi, scratching his head in defeat, since he actually chose the best word he could muster as a way of describing Anko to Naruto without saying that she was a sadistic snake. What do you mean active? This was not going to be good, and Naruto knew he was in deep trouble, since if Anko had that look for him, if Kakashi's correct, he may well be in big trouble. I mean that if she wants something, she'll do everything in order to have it, and she won't rest. According to you, she was checking you out, huh? Well, the only thing I can say is that she's very persuasive. The thing is, Naruto, Anko scares a lot of people in Konoha. The last guy who asked her out, well, sort of asked her out, woke up at the hospital from blood loss, said Kakashi, trying not to scare Naruto too much, but strangely Naruto's reaction wasn't scared and Kakashi noticed that. Oh, I get it, so that means she doesn't take crap from annoying people, said Naruto, pretty much summing it up how Kakashi described Anko. Oh, and one more thing I know about her, and this one is pretty deep. She was the first apprentice of Orochimaru. That's why she knows a lot of snake jutsus, as well as the fact that she has the snake summon contract, said Kakashi as his hand was under his chin, while telling Naruto about Anko. Really? Said Naruto as he was thinking of what would have happened if something were to have between him and the snake mistress, and quite frankly, Naruto was giving some thought about the idea, something he never found he would, but he did. You changed a lot, Naruto. I wouldn't be surprised if some girl suddenly developed a crush on you, seeing as you grew up rather well. It seemed that Anko was taken aback by your behavior or even your new appearance, said Kakashi as he was now smiling deviously at imagining the two of them together. What's with that smile, Kakashi-sensei? You don't have anything planned, do you? Said Naruto as he was studying his sensei's devious face, showing just like he found an interesting scene at one of his books. Nothing. Naruto, forget about it. Well, let's get some sleep. We'll rotate, you stay watching for enemies, and then I will, said Kakashi as he was waving his hand in front of Naruto in a negative manner, showing him to forget about it and go to sleep. Okay, good night, Kakashi-sensei. With that, Naruto stayed on top of a tree log, guarding the camp, and stayed thinking, why do I have the feeling that things will be more excited from now on? To know that Anko could be having a crush on me is something to think. I never had anyone who wanted me like that. Come to think about it, her outfit really suited her. Dangerous, beautiful, sexy. Wait, where did that come from? Suddenly, Naruto heard some bushes moving and he sensed a ninja presence nearby. So with the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto formed two clones, and while one went to see who the intruder was, the other one was sent to wake Kakashi up. Kakashi-sensei, someone's coming, said Naruto clone. I know, Naruto, stay on your guard. Got it, said the clone just before he disappeared in a puff of smoke. Kage Bunshin, good thinking. The other Bunshin went to see what was going on, and two kunais were thrown from both sides. The clone avoided both of them and saw two mist ninjas charging at the clone, making hand seals, Suiden Suiryuden no Jutsu, too. Suddenly, 2 water dragons came charging Naruto clone with high speed. Since the real Naruto and Kakashi already arrived at the fight scene, Naruto released the clone, leaving no target for the dragons to hit, and they ended heading towards each one of the mist Chunins, hitting them both. Seeing that both ninjas were regaining their breath, Kakashi and Naruto captured them and started asking questions. So, why were you attacking us? Inquired Kakashi, with a kunai on the first Chunin's throat, starting the interrogation sequence. I won't answer anything to you, Konoha pig. I see. You have 2 choices, and I can tell that both involve you telling me everything I want to know. First, you cooperate and answer all my questions, and I'll consider noting you both. The second one, I'll start doing several cuts on your body, until you answer. Naruto was watching Kakashi's interrogation, the same way a student would watch a teacher. He was taking mental notes of what to do in these situations. Hey you, blonde idiot, what are you smiling about? Said one of the Chunins in an angry tone, much to Naruto's grin, thinking about a perfect argument to induce fear at the supposedly confident Chunin. I don't think you're in the position to curse me. In case you do not know, there is a kunai no more than an inch from your neck, and you know what would happen if I did a cut around this area. Naruto pointed with the kunai, showing the mist ninja's veins as the enemy just swallowed in fright of seeing the cool voice of the blonde Chunin while almost touching the tip of the kunai at the guy's neck. Now, since we made our point here, start answering. Why did you attack us? Said Kakashi as he started to approach the kunai more and more closer to the other guy's neck. We ain't telling you shit, said the Chunin, fighting to struggle as the kunai was near his neck, and both Kakashi and Naruto were releasing a little bit of chakra, showing some intent to them, scaring the hell out of them, so they cracked and started to talk. We knew that Konoha would send help to assist the fire daimyo's son, so we guarded this place and waited for you guys to come. Our mission was to stop you from reaching the daimyo's son. So, the mist was responsible for the threats at Kenshin. Naruto, we have to keep moving, they could attack very soon. I agree. But what will we do with these guys? Just knock them out and leave them. They won't be bothering us, and they won't be of help for the others who will be attacking later. So knock them out and tie them up, said Kakashi as he was turning around, only waiting for Naruto to do what he was supposed to do. Got it, said Naruto as he hit with a chakra-infused punch at the ninjas, knocking them out and leaving them with a big headache. When they wake up, Naruto and Kakashi ran like nothing before, reaching the daimyo's house in a couple of hours. At the daimyo's house, as Kakashi knocked the door to the house, Kenshin was the one who answered and was a little surprised to see Kakashi at the door with a blonde ninjas dressed just like Kakashi but with a green vest instead of the dark one Kakashi was wearing. Kakashi-san, what are you doing here? And who's him? Said Kenshin as he pointed to Naruto. Greetings, Kenshin-san, we're here to protect you from the threats. And this is Naruto, Konoha Chunin. Introduced Kakashi to the daimyo's son. Ah, so you're the 4th member of Team Kakashi I heard good words about, said Kenshin as he greeted Naruto with a handshake. Yeah, I was. But Kenshin-san, we have orders to protect you. Kakashi-sensei, judging from before, I sense that at least 4 Chunins and 2 Junins are nearby. I see. Please Kenshin-san, go inside the house. We'll deal with the enemy. Naruto, make a clone to protect the daimyo's son inside. Okay, said Naruto as he formed a clone and asked Kenshin to follow the clone. Kenshin-san and the Naruto clone went inside the house, as 4 mist Chunins appeared right in front of the Konoha ninjas. What could you tell from the enemy, Naruto? Asked Kakashi as he was getting into an fighting stance. It seems that the left one is stronger than the previous 2 we interrogated earlier. The rest of them have the same strength. So, I'll leave the Sharingan for the 2 Junins then. Naruto, you take out the 3 and I'll take the stronger one. Okay, let's see if I can throw them away, said Naruto, doing some hand seals. Fuuton Datapa no Jutsu. After Naruto's huge burst of wind, the 3 were separated from the stronger one, leaving Kakashi to fight him. Naruto then formed 4 cage bunshin and did his favorite taijutsu combo, knocking the first one. Uzumaki Naruto Renden. Then, the other charged at Naruto with fast punches, which Naruto dodged them all and landed a kick on the stomach, making the enemy cough some blood and try to breathe heavily. Naruto was, however, caught off guard, when the third one came landing a punch on Naruto's chest, hurting him a little bit. Nice one, said Naruto enjoying the fight. There is more when it came from, brat. Okay, let's go, said Naruto, making a cage bunshin and focusing a big Rasengan. OODAMA Rasengan. The big energy ball exploded on the third enemy's chest, sending him all the way to his homeland. The second one was disoriented with the kick from earlier, so Naruto simply knocked him out, doing a strong jab on his chin. When Naruto approached Kakashi's fight, he was making some hand seals and screaming Kaden Ryuka no Jutsu. With that, the enemy ninja screamed in pain, running away to the next river, which was at least a mile away from the location. Kakashi-sensei, my part is done, said Naruto, communicating with Kakashi with a special ear plugs that transmitted conversation between the ninjas. Mine too. Now Naruto, where are the 2 Junins? They are not very far, but they aren't moving, so I guess they don't know the result of this fight. Not yet anyway. Okay, let's focus on resting for a little bit. What I don't know is why the mist attacking the daimyo's son. Maybe, Kenshin-san can answer that. Yes, I can, Kakashi-san, Naruto-san. The mist knew of my diplomatic mission to Iowa, so they assumed Konoha was forming a partnership with the Rock Village, so they sent these ninjas to eliminate the only contact between the villages, me. Naruto, when Tsunade-sama assigned this mission, she assigned as A, B, rank mission. But regarding the fact that our enemies are high-class ninjas, this is an A rank mission, so be on your guard, those are Junin-level ninjas. I did not know that the mist would send Junins, my apologies, Kakashi-san. Do not worry, Kenshin-san. There is only 2 Junins. We are in equal advantage. I and Naruto can handle it. 2 against 2, right Naruto? Right, at least we are not outnumbered. We can take them. From a distance, the 2 mist Junins concluded that the Chunins failed to assassinate the fire daimyo's son, so they started moving. Kakashi-sensei, they are coming. Okay, Naruto, this is the final fight. When they appear, choose one enemy and stick to him, leave me with mine. As the ninjas appeared, they came to notice the Sharingan blazing through Kakashi's eyes and knew right away that the mission wouldn't be so easy to succeed. Huh. Sharingan no Kakashi. No wonder, our Chunins were no match for them. Sakato, you take the blonde there, I want to fight the copy nin. Huh. This will be easy, said Sakato, as he was charging towards Naruto engaging him in taijutsu. But Naruto was faster and was able to took out his katana as well as channel wind chakra through it, making a swift movement, managing to cut one of the Junin's vest sleeves. Do not underestimate me, if you know what's good for you, said Naruto as he got into the stance that he learned from Rikamaru, and suddenly the mist Junin wasn't so eager to attack Naruto. He knew that the wind slice could very well him if it hit right on. You'll pay for that, brat, said the Junin as he was proceeding to silencing technique, making the hand seals for the Ninpou Kurigakure no Jutsu, but as the fog came, Naruto made some seals of his own, screaming Fuuton Datapa no Jutsu, blowing the fog as a result of it. Sakato was beginning to move away, when a huge gust wind came rushing at him, extinguishing the fog created by Sakato, as well as throwing him to a tree. That jutsu won't work against me. The wind can very well dissipate the fog, and I already saw that from Momochi Zabuza, said Naruto as he was once again charging towards the opponent with his katana in hand. Now, you pissed me off, scum. Suiten Mizu no Tatsumaki no Jutsu. A huge water cyclone charged at Naruto, leaving him with little time to dodge the attack. Naruto knew he couldn't just dodge, because the tornado would take him, so Naruto channeled chakra throughout his feet and jumped to a couple trees, completely out of the technique's range. Seeing that Sakato was located in an open space, Naruto performed some hand seals and screamed Doden Yumi Numa no Jutsu. From out of nowhere, Sakato was trapped from the sudden growth of a swamp under him, entrapping him, leaving the opportunity to Naruto, in order to finish his opponent. "Seems like you're trapped, aren't you?" said Naruto, as he appeared near Sakato, pissing him off so badly. "Stupid brat, I'll get you for this," argued Sakato, but he couldn't move since the more he moved, more the mud would just squeeze him tighter, making him no room to even move his finger. Naruto actually didn't know what to do with the guy, so he sent a Kage Bunshin to ask Kakashi. "Kakashi-sensei, I've defeated my enemy, what do I do?" said Naruto's clone as he saw the fight between his sensei and the other Junin, waiting to ask after Kakashi kicked him and sent him flying to the forest, making him unconscious, capturing him. "Good, I've already captured this one and already sent him for Ibiki to interrogation with my nin dogs. Summon 2 medium-sized frogs, so they can take the prisoner to Ibiki as well. Consider done." And the clone disappeared. He just loves that Kage Bunshin. He was able to defeat a Junin. I actually thought I would have to help him a little, but he did it without any help from me, smiled Kakashi. Kuchihyose no Jutsu. Next to the real Naruto appeared Gamatsu and Gamakichi. "Hey, Naruto, what's up?" greeted the 2 frogs as they appeared. "Can you 2 take this man to Ibiki to interrogation for me?" asked Naruto as he addressed the toads who for their part wouldn't do anything without a proper sacrifice. "Okay, how about those chocolate bars?" "What the hell? Again? Don't you have enough of chocolate?" "Never." "Fine, deliver him to Ibiki and I'll give you 4 chocolate bars." "What about me, Naruto?" "You too." "Fine. 4 to you too," signed in defeat Naruto, also wondering what the hell is so good about those damn chocolate bars, the frogs happen to love so much. Actually Naruto traveled with some of it, just in case the toads knocked the ninja out, then took him out of the swamp and took him to Ibiki. At the interrogation chamber in Konoha. At Konoha, Ibiki was inside his office organizing some documents, when 2 puffs of smoke appeared, revealing the 2 toads that Naruto asked, carrying an unconscious Miss Junin. "Are you Ibiki-san?" asked Gamatsu, as he landed the guy on the ground. "Yes, I am. What is a Miss Junin doing here?" said Ibiki, actually twice in a day, since he also asked some ninja dogs about the other one. This ninja was captured by Uzumaki Naruto and requested a complete interrogation on this ninja the same way as the one sent by Kakashi, moments ago, said Gamatsu, as he handed the man for Ibiki. "Okay, then. Daimyo's son assassination." As the toads vanished, Ibiki suddenly remembered that name and smiled, wondering how the heel Naruto was able to capture a Miss Junin in the first place. Most impressive, indeed. At the Daimyo's house. Meanwhile, near the Daimyo's house, Kakashi was to give the mission report to the client, but first he needed to reach for his partner. "Naruto, assemble. I'm here, Kakashi-sensei." "Okay. Kenshin-san, I believe that no one will bother you anytime soon. We captured their leaders and defeated their little army. Thanks Kakashi-san, Naruto-san. Let's go Naruto, we are to meet Tsunade for report." "Okay, then, Kakashi-sensei, how was your fight?" asked Naruto, while jumping from tree to tree. "With the Sharingan, it wasn't so difficult. The guy only used Suiten techniques, so my Reikiri did the job well." "I see. And how was yours?" "The guy also only had Suiten techniques and he did a Kurigakure no Jutsu. But, in the end, he only talked and I did the action. Since he was open and disoriented, I performed the Doden Yuri Numa and trapped him for good." "Good. Well, what do you say we speed things up a little?" said Kakashi as he smiled, while offering Naruto something he knew he would say yes to. "You know I'm in favor of that exercise, all the time," said Naruto as he was beginning to channel chakra through his feet. "Okay, then, channel chakra through your feet and let's go." At Tsunade's office. The double managed to arrive at Tsunade's office in a day, being the first time Naruto was feeling tired. Tsunade was scared when she noticed that they've already came back. Report, Kakashi. Certainly, Tsunade-sama. We set camp at our first day trip and encountered two missed Chunins, being certain that Naruto dispatched both of them. When we arrived at the daimyo's house, 4 missed Chunins appeared and we defeated them, leaving 2 Junins to face. Each of us bet 1 Junin and sent them to Ibiki for interrogation. I see. Mission accomplished. Congratulations, you two. I already have the results of Ibiki's interrogations. Both ninjas, after Ibiki's technique, confirmed their intentions of the Fire Daimyo's son, because they believed of a possible alliance between Iwa and Konoha. And since Kenshin was the only contact between the villages, he was the target. Kenshin was right, then, concluded Naruto. Tsunade-sama, seeing that there were high-level ninjas as enemies, this mission would have to be an A rank mission, instead of a B 1. You're right, Kakashi. I'll make the necessary arrangements. Go take some rest. You both did well. Both of them said goodbye and disappeared from the office. Meanwhile, Tsunade was beaming with happiness. Not only Naruto and Kakashi were okay, but also when a mission requested by the daimyo goes according to plan, the Fire Lord gets off her but for a little period. Thank you Naruto. No Fire Lord craps for a week, at least some vacation. Outside the office, Naruto and Kakashi were walking when both stomachs started to talk and asked for food. Hearing this, both ninjas looked at each other and smile, while Naruto had the decency to ask. Hey Kakashi, would you like to get something to eat? Actually, yes, we forgot to eat on the way back. Good. After eating, they went to sleep. The next day, Naruto woke up at 7:30 a.m. and went to his personal training ground located on top of the Hokage mountain, in order to practice taijutsu and kenjutsu. He pulled a scroll from his backpack and puffed his katana. After that, he started training some kenjutsu exercises, which involved sword attack sequences and slicing objects that was being thrown by his clones. Suddenly, Kakashi appeared reading his book, since he somehow knew he could find Naruto training here. Actually, he was one of the few who knew where Naruto trained at all. Most of the people he knew only saw him walking around the city and always wondered how did he get so strong, since no one saw him training. Hi, Naruto, training already? Asked Kakashi but never taking his eyes off his book. Ohio, Kakashi-sensei, yeah, I'm improving my kenjutsu style, said Naruto, while slicing every single object thrown by his clone. So, Naruto, I actually came here to talk to you about something. Something important. What is it? It's about our next mission. What about it? Neji is coming with us. It's a B rank mission. A criminal organization is terrorizing a small village near Konoha border. We are to go there, defeat this organization, as well as gather information about it. That where Neji enters the plot. Why Neji? Because he happens to be trained in information gathering, as well as good fighting skills. Why do you ask? I thought Shino was better trained for this kind of situation, since he was in Kurenai's team and Neji is in Guy's team. Yes, he would be the next choice. But, he's on a mission with his dad and won't be here when we leave. I see. Okay, so, when do we leave? Because of last night's mission, Tsunade said for us to leave the 2 p.m. So you have plenty of time to rest and pack for 2 days travel. Where is the meeting point? Konoha East Gate, 1:30 p.m. Okay, I'll be there. After training, Naruto went to his apartment and started packing his things. I wonder if Neji is mad about being hospitalized from my jutsu. Naruto, now out of the apartment, headed for the meeting point. When he got there, he saw Neji there waiting. Naruto wasn't scared of Neji, but he didn't want to deal with him, in case he wanted to talk about the tornado on top of the Hokage monument. Neji, when did you arrive? A couple minutes ago. Oh, okay, so I arrived on time, but I see that Kakashi is late as usual, said Naruto, resting in defeat from a supposed lost cause. Naruto once thought that Kakashi would never be late again, since he was able to say the proper goodbye to Obito and never stepped foot close to the memorial stone. At Tsunade's office. At Tsunade's office, Kakashi and Here were discussing the contents of the mission. Since it involved some criminal organization, she was worried of any alliance between them and Akatsuki. Kakashi, be careful when approaching the target. There are rumors that this organization works directly by the orders of Akatsuki. If that is true, Naruto would be in serious danger. With all due respect, Hokage-sama, even if this is just a rumor, it would be best to send another team, then. Guy's team is equally prepared for fighting and information gathering. Kakashi knew that Naruto was stronger now, but to be at bay with the Akatsuki, he still had a long way to go. I'm aware of that, Kakashi. But the rest of Team Guy is on a mission. Apparently, a Taijutsu master is attacking a village nearby, so I sent Guy and his team to stop the aggressor. If you see that Naruto would be in trouble, inform me right away. I'll send someone to assist at the battle. Okay, Tsunade-sama. Now, I must go. Dismissed. At meeting point, as Kakashi appeared at the designated spot, he managed to see that Naruto and Neji were already there, discussing about something. Ohio, said Kakashi, appearing out of nowhere, seeing Naruto and Neji talking. Oh, Kakashi-sensei, we've been expecting you. I was just discussing with Neji about the mission. Oh, usually, criminal organizations don't have high-level ninjas. But, since they are attacking a village in the Fire Country, we'll go there and scare them away. Neji, you are going as well to help us take care of the enemies as well as gather information on this organization. Understood. Good. Let's head out. Naruto and I are to go side by side with Neji following behind in order to see if any enemies are on the area or trying to attack us. Any threats, you can let us know in advance so we can be prepared. Now, let's move, said Kakashi as they all left with a shunshin to their destination. After a while, since no enemies were spotted, Naruto, Kakashi and Neji arrived at the place that was being attacked by the criminal organization. So, Naruto, said Neji addressing to Naruto in a serious/wondering manner. What is it? At your Chunin exams, why didn't you fight seriously? Asked Neji, remembering about the fact that even though Naruto used a lot of high-level ninjutsu, his chakra capacity didn't show any signs of diminishing. What are you talking about? I did fight seriously. Do you actually think you can fool my Byakugan? From the entire fight, I couldn't sense any decrease in your chakra capacity. How is it possible that you've fought seriously and almost no chakra were consumed? Neji, by this time, you should have known that Naruto's chakra capacity is way beyond normality, Kakashi said, joining the conversation. I already know that, but even if a ninja has large chakra capacity, even a few amount of chakra is consumed when such jutsu are used. Neji, don't you remember that time when I completed the Junin chakra control exercise? Said Naruto, earning first glances from Neji's white eyes, and then suddenly he started recollecting the events. It was all Neji could say, before he remembered that Naruto now has 100 chakra control. The three continued talking, until Neji asked about the sudden tornado that sent him to the hospital. But tell me one thing. What? Actually, Naruto was afraid of such question, since Neji could very well want answers about the tornado thing. He ended up hitting the Hyuga Junin. That tornado that sent me to the hospital. It was you, right? UUHH. Yes, Naruto replied, afraid that Neji would be mad at him. It's very powerful. You could have used it on the exam. You would pass just by using that jutsu. Neji, with that jutsu, I sent you to the hospital. Just imagine what I would do to a genin. I think you're right. After some time, they stopped just in front of the village in order to set camp and start the mission. Neji, we have 1 week to accomplish this mission. Scan the area as much as you please. I and Naruto will henge as local civilians and see the village's situation. We are to meet here in a couple hours for regroup. Hi. Let's go, Naruto. Henge no jutsu. With that, Naruto and Kakashi transformed into local civilians and entered the city without people noticing anything. The city population had a strange look on their faces. It was like they were used to the sudden attacks that were happening. Neji used his Byakugan and he could see almost the entire city. He noticed a group of people inside a large building, talking. Neji concluded that there was the organization's hideout, since there was some chakra presence, so he hid his chakra and went for the hideout to investigate. Once he arrived there, since his Byakugan did not consume much of his chakra, only a hypersensitive ninja would know he was near. He activated his bloodline and managed to study the whole building, the number of enemies, the hidden doors, some underground passages, how many floors. Neji managed to study the whole structure. He even managed to take a look at the leader, since he noticed to whom all the group was taking to, as well as his chakra was the strongest of them all. When the time to meet, Neji headed for their camp and found that 2 civilians were there, but with his Kekkei Genkei, he saw that they were in fact Naruto and Kakashi. So, Neji, what did you find out? I found their hideout and I managed to study its entire structure. The place is the tallest building on the southeast direction, with hidden underground passages. Inside, I managed to get a glimpse at our enemy's strength and chakra presences. Some of them don't have chakra at all, but very few of them have Chunin level chakra. Only what I assume is their leader has the highest chakra level. Well, I and Naruto took notice of what they are doing in the city. It seems that they are trying to take over the place by treating the city mayor, causing a big fuss. When they don't want to pay for food, they destroy everything. Today was just a preliminary study. Tomorrow, let's ask the citizens for information. Understood. We must rest, then. Who takes the patrol for today? I'll be doing today, and then tomorrow is Naruto's turn, then you Neji, said Kakashi before entering his tent.